Good evening. Welcome to this regular session, Mayor and City Council meeting. Having 6:12, or maybe a little off, but around there. PM is Wednesday, April 1st, 2015. We have an agenda that's amended for this meeting. So go ahead. Now it's called to order. Go with the Pledge of Allegiance. If you'll all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for invocation. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We have invocation by Pastor David Lopez from Abundant Life.
Heavenly Father, we pray this afternoon that your blessing will come over the city of Nogales to this generation and the generations to follow. We pray that your favor will be poured in the leadership of this city, that justice, that everything, Lord, that you have set for this city to grow, to continue to improve in the direction that is going to fulfill your will for this city, for our children and the children of our children will be accomplished. We pray that you continue to be with us, that even to the smallest corner of this city, to the highest place, that this city will be the greatest in this nation and around the world. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Pastor David Lopez. We have a call to the public. Do we have anybody?
I don't have any questions.
Okay, good. Maybe, yes, Assistant Manager Kissinger, would you kind of give us a few words?
Yes, sir. If you don't mind, I was going to report this during the city manager report, but I think it would be more appropriate to report this during the call to the public. Recently, the chief of police just got back from the very prestigious FBI National Academy. I just want to report to you, Mr. Mayor, that only 4 law enforcement officers from the Santa Cruz County have ever attended this academy. The chief is the 4th. While he was at the academy, he was selected and elected as president of his section of the class. I believe there might have been 6 sections. There's law enforcement officers from just about every state in the union, plus I believe at least 20 different countries that come together for this academy. So it's very prestigious, and we made a lot of contacts. Over 240 different officers are there. But more importantly, amongst all of them and his instructors and his peers, he was elected with a leadership award. So that alone is a big accomplishment. And Mr. Mayor, I know I want to pass the baton on to you so you can give some words, but I think you did an awesome job. Mr. Mayor?
Thank you, Mr. Kissinger. Chief, we want to thank you again. We're so proud of you, Chief. You make the whole community proud. Again, it's no easy task. I'm not even going to mention your age. I know you're still a young buck there, so I still think you did great out there. I'm sure it gets pretty rough out there physically and mentally. It's no easy task to go through the FBI Academy, but I think all of us feel very fortunate to have you as our chief here, and that you're part of this community, and that you're going to bring forth all that experience and all that wisdom that you picked up over there in that training. And I'm sure that, we're proud of our police department, and I think it's just going to get even better. So welcome back, and thank you for being here tonight. God bless you.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you. Before we continue on the discussion and action items, I guess I know we covered it last month, but this is the month, April, that's for abuse awareness. And I just want to remind everybody again, we had a proclamation, and I know that we're going to probably read another one sometime this month with the activities, but just to remind everybody that a walkathon to raise awareness of child abuse in Santa Cruz County is scheduled for Saturday, April 11th. For those that don't read the Nogales International, it's there on this issue, but I'm going to just let you know that it's there, and it's April is Child Abuse Awareness Month. Blue ribbons are worn to support the cause. The 5th Child Abuse Walkathon will kick off at the Arizona Department of Economic Security parking lot at 1843 North State Drive off Mariposa Road. If you can join the cause on April 11th with or without walking shoes to show your support for all efforts to battle child abuse, organizers will be there to register you at 9 a.m. and the walk begins at 9:30 a.m. at the DS parking lot with the revving of motorcycle engines by the Bikers Against Child Abuse. Balloons will be released in memory of those children who have lost their lives to child abuse, and the walk will follow a marked route and return to the DES parking lot. I guess it's not going to be a long walk, but your show of support will really be appreciated. I'll be there and do whatever needs to get done, what mayors do, but again, I'll be welcoming everybody that's there. And that's all. I just wanted to kind of bring it to your attention. It will be again April 11th in the morning. So with that said, we'll continue with the agenda, and we'll go to item 6, discussion and action items, where we'll have the first on the list will be our presentation quarterly report from the Nogales Chamber of Commerce. Mrs. Olivia Inter-Kramer. And her staff.
Well, good evening. My name is Alexis Kramer Ainsa, and I'm actually social media coordinator and PR specialist for the Chamber. So today I will be presenting this slideshow to you in collaboration with also small business entrepreneurs from the community. And also I'm speaking on behalf today of Innovative Blue Solutions, which is my company. And just a background on me, I am a junior at Arizona State University at the Walter Cronkite School of Journalism. So this is my specialization in journalism, is social media. So today we're going to be speaking more in depth of what we're doing for the local community, whereas our concentration is tourism. So on our first slide, first image that you see here is, of course, downtown Nogales, and kind of by a raise of hands, who has a Facebook page? Just in the room right now. A raise of hands if you have a personal Facebook account or any social media. Some of you, I know you're shy because I know that you guys have social media accounts. So this is why we're projecting this project, is through social media, because it's completely changing the face of what we can bring to our community. So if you liked, by show of hands, also how many of you have a smartphone? You know, smart iPhones, Androids, all that stuff. So just some background how important technology is right now. More than 4.8 billion people in the world have a cell phone, whereas only 4.2 billion people have a toothbrush. So of course, some people's priorities are a little bit different, but you know, technology's there and everybody wants it. So we're taking advantage of that. Moving on to the next slide, we can see that, you know, we're tackling this project by specifically in Nogales, Arizona, Santa Cruz County. So we're sharing facts, you know, where we're located at, and we're concentrating a lot on Google Maps. Why is that? Because Google Maps is everywhere. Google Maps has actually come here with their vehicles to take pictures of streets in Nogales, so people, when they look up Nogales, Arizona, they can get a 360 view. So now what we're doing also is getting businesses on there so they can see their information when traveling to Nogales, Arizona. So this is just our generic statement that we're welcoming everyone here with new information, unique experiences from the community, from other tourist giveaways, and tips when it comes to traveling Santa Cruz County. And our presence on our apps is also very strong. So we're not just on Facebook, we're on TripAdvisor, which is the world's largest travel community site, and right now it has over 260 million monthly visitors. And that's a strong presence because now before traveling, you know, you want to look at the hotel you're staying at, you want to know what there's things to do, and TripAdvisor is the go-to place. Pinterest is also, you're right. Pinterest is also an area where, you know, people share their ideas, what is there to eat, recipes. So we're welcoming small business communities such as Nogales and small businesses here to share pictures of their food. Because nothing says Mexican food like our food, doesn't it? So we want to sell that to future tourists, which is great. And then our Twitter account, it's short, it's sweet, and we have presence all over the world. And our target audience actually in Twitter, believe it or not, is in Turkey. Facebook, our target audience is also in the Middle East, Northern Africa, and also Spain and Canada. And Pinterest is actually from South America. And Facebook right now, we're also concentrating a lot in Brazil because that's the #1 site in Brazil for social media. So we're bringing a lot of attention, not just, Canada, Mexico, we're expanding the horizons because now, thanks to the web, our neighbors are closer than ever. So we're really taking advantage of that. So if you want to go specifically to the apps, you want to open in the browser, we can take a look at TripAdvisor. Our first one is, there we are. We're getting pictures of all the local businesses and putting them online so people can see, what is there to see when I go stop at this place. Right now, we're the #1 spot of attraction as a chamber and visitor tourism center. Reason is, and that's actually really good on our part, on our tourism coordinator, because she's giving the right feedback to our tourists. So we're known to be that place to go to get information. So we're hearing really great responses, great feedback, and as you can see on the map towards the right, we're right there. The more our presence is on that map with Google, the better it's going to be for our community. So, and if you look to Twitter, we just launched our Twitter account. Right now we have 81 followers, but our retweets, which means that people that like it and favorite it, and every time we say something is phenomenal. It's going through the roof, and like I said, it's a large presence worldwide. And this is also the beauty of social media networks, is everything is interlinked. So everything that we have on our website can lead them to TripAdvisor, Facebook, Pinterest, YouTube, you name it. And luckily we've had a presence there too. Now on Pinterest here, our goal, along with Daniel Wolfuk, who's luckily my go-to guy right now for the slideshow, he's a videographer, precious stream photography, local business entrepreneurs too. So we're taking videos, we're taking pictures, we're putting that all online so we can brand this area. So right now we have videos, we have a pin, what they call a board of each part of Santa Cruz County, and we're really trying to increase Nogales, Arizona because, it's a city. So that's our, goal to bring that up with videos and pictures. Now our Facebook page, this is our Facebook page. We have over 1,390 likes, and the audience engagement is very different. So if you tell me, Alexis, when you post this on Facebook, how much do you have? You know what? Right now, in the hour with that video, I had like about 560 people view it. By tonight, it could reach over 1,000. And just the shares are incredible, so our presence is there. And also, if you scroll down on the Facebook page a little, you will see there that, again, everything's linked together. For our TripAdvisor, to our Pinterest, and Twitter. Unfortunately, YouTube hasn't created an app yet, but we're working on it where we can code it in. So that's some, big word to interlink it so it could be there. So our YouTube videos, where Daniel's been working on that, will be there too. So now if we want to return back to the presentation, there we go. So, the next slide. Perfect. So here we are looking at pictures of Nogales, Arizona. Now, these are images that are not only ours, but we're using it from our iPhones, professional cameras, our tablet cameras, but we're sharing that. Reason is because we're branding it through a hashtag. What's a hashtag? Now, it used to be called the $, so this is now a hashtag, and what that means, when you use that on social media and you post with a hashtag, under Nogales, Arizona, pictures like this will pull up. And what does that do? So when people search for it, these pictures can pop up. And our goal is to increase so much audience engagement with that hashtag that on Google, where if you look up on Google Nogales, Arizona, those pictures of the border and just really bad negative images of Nogales can be erased, and this can go up. And luckily for us, we're directly working with Google Analytics. I work directly with the Google office in San Francisco, so they are ready to go. So the more pictures we produce, the better it goes for us. And that also goes with press. Daniel's a journalism graduate, I'm a journalism major, so we want to work directly with the press to bring them here to show that this is what Nogales looks like. And this is all in your backyard. Americana, it shoots beautifully at night, during the day, you name it. Morley Avenue, the statue where Daniel, he shared it on Instagram, another social media app that we're also on, is here in the city of Nogales, and people didn't even know where it's at. Even locals, they didn't even know where it's located. So we're hearing really great feedback from the local community as well worldwide. So what are the interests? So we want to take people, to dine and experience authentic Mexican food. So we want to take pictures of, Zula's Titas Burger, because that's what we know. The Finitos, chimichangas, you name it. We want people to know that this is authentic Mexican food, and this is what they can eat. And essentially, like I said, our goal is to definitely increase that through TripAdvisor, because it's not just visitors who are looking at this. Major publications worldwide are looking at TripAdvisor for food. Our goal is to also bring people to shop in historic downtown Nogales, to learn about Crawford Street, the city's history, the museum, the courthouse, Pino Springs Golf Course. It's one of the world's probably worldwide renowned golf course, and we really want to bring that attention back to Nogales. And of course, we have Paul Bond Roots, which is our badge of honor, so we can never forget how important Paul Bond is to this community. So, this image, I shared it particularly because this is my amateur photography that I took, and there's the hashtag, so hashtag Sacred Heart, hashtag Historic Buildings, hashtag Nogales, so we can keep branding it so people can see it. And why is this picture so important? I shared this the night before on Instagram. The next day, I was volunteering at the tourism center, and this lady said, "Oh, I saw your picture on Instagram of Sacred Heart. It was really pretty, so I want to go see it." And that was within a span of less than 24 hours. So the attention, audience engagement is there, and we're having great success with it. So another thing that we're working on is bringing videos. And this is where Daniel can share a little bit more in detail what he's doing as far as a videographer.
Yeah, sure. Good evening. My name is Daniel Wolfolk. A lot of familiar faces. I've been hiding out a lot of times. So, I'm a Nogales native. I'm a videographer. I'm a journalist. I'll give you some really quick history about me. Columbia University graduate. I went to journalism school there. While I was a Pulitzer Moore Scholar, interning at the New York Times, I became a reporter in upstate New York. From there, I published everywhere, USA Today, Wall Street Journal. I got recruited to work for AOL, cover the military in San Diego. I worked there and I did a lot of video there. And video is just something that's just amazing. You get so much interaction with it. And I've always wanted to freelance, and I've always wanted to come back over here and do a lot of stories. So I took a big risk and did that. A few good things working with the chamber. I got in with an agency out of New York City called Story Hunter, where I have the opportunity to work with editors from all over the world, like New York, Paris, everywhere. And things have opened up for me, like jobs. People have been sending around my information for jobs. I might be teaching at a college in Tucson, journalism. So a lot of things that have been coming up just from publishing videos consistently without even that being an intent. So the thing about videos, Alexis, are we going to play it before or after?
Your phone.
Yeah, sure, let's play the clock one, right? Okay. This is the video that I did of the clock restoration. And I got the idea from Nogales International. Thanks, man. Is it? They're trying to be. Here's this number here. Oh, sorry. Come on, sorry. There we go. We'll start all over.
Really neat to get a chance to work on such a clock. It's such a rare today. To see a real bell up there ring, there's a tone to it that's unreal.
The clock at the 1914 Nogales, Arizona City Hall building is one of the few working tower clocks in the United States.
It was made by Seth Thomas in 1915, and it was overbuilt. And it's still running 100 years later, so that really shows the quality of the clock was.
But it didn't run continuously. It had sat idle for over a decade and required deep cleaning and maintenance to get it ticking again.
It was so dirty after the years of sitting that if it wasn't cleaned, dirt would have ate the gears up and destroyed the clock.
The project was funded by the One Oil Foundation grant and directed by the city of Nogales. Father and son horologists Galen and Tim Gudenkaw, along with volunteers, got the clock working again in January.
I just feel real fortunate to have been involved in such a neat project that, that the whole community can enjoy. It's neat that a clock, such a wonderful clock and such a wonderful instrument can be brought back to life again for the community of Nogales.
The Gudenkaufs fully restored the clock in the 1990s. The accompanying bell, however, has required minimal maintenance.
That's one thing we did not clean. We just left it alone because we didn't want to shine it up. We didn't want to take off the 100-year patina. Presented to the town of Nogales by the First National Bank, Gracie Curtis, President.
To help ensure the clock is here in the future, the Gudenkaufs trained Nogales City firefighters the maintenance required for such an intricate device.
As sturdy as they are, they're very delicate. Wrong hands on them and maintained improperly can destroy this clock very quickly. Being maintained 200 years from now, it'll still run. So it's a fabulous, fabulous clock.
For the Nogales Santa Cruz County Chamber of Commerce, this is Daniel Wolfo.
So that video right there is something that, I mean, it's like a news video, something you can do in a couple days. However, everything that goes on behind it to serve the community, to get people down here is, I mean, going from strategy to some of the technical aspects. And I'll go over that real quick. We have other videos on YouTube that are about the farmer's market, or are about, I'm drawing a blank, there are 6 of them. And that's how, you know, come on down to the farmer's market, or come on down to the centennial of the Media Alta. And this is when it is. This one is a little bit different. It's kind of a general, this is kind of interesting about this place. It has one of the only working tower clocks in the United States. And why is that important? One thing I learned at a Arizona Office of Tourism convention down in Tucson is that a publicist who represents Arizona in Germany represent people all over the world. They represent Arizona all over the world. He said, well, and everyone said this, travelers nowadays, they don't go in tour groups, you know, take pictures and then get on the bus and go to the other one. They want to see something interesting. They want to see the small towns. They want to go somewhere where no one else has been, and this provides that for them. So that video was researched with that intent in mind. It's planned. It's professionally edited. If it had bigger speakers, we'd be able to hear the clock ticking throughout the majority of the video. Extremely important is that you're not going to get this with someone who does, you know, a 5-minute video on a drone, or something from someone coming in from Tucson, or a reporter coming in from Tucson who, you know, is scared of the border and just does a little bit of Indiana Jones to get down here and report, which is kind of ridiculous. You know, these are, you know, local stories. I got it from my local paper. I've known Tim for years and years and years, so I was able to do that. And very importantly is that if you go on YouTube and do it, there are captions. So it has subtitles in English. You press closed captions. Strategically, what that does is that YouTube will translate this in, I think, up to 300 languages. So Turkey, Brazil, all those people have access to this video. And the text on there also serves a huge purpose, which is it tells Google what the video is about. So if someone's looking for that kind of clock. I know that Mr. Gudenkauf traveled all over the country looking for that kind of clock. And people do that, they'll find that, they'll come here to Nogales, they'll spend money, and that's going to help our economy. YouTube is the #3 website in the world. #1 is Google, its parent company is Google. And you can search all the YouTube videos through Google very easily. They work very well together. #2 is Facebook, which is what we share our videos on. And so the top 3 websites in the world are serving us to disseminate this information and get people down here. And we can't, you see a lot of really bad news in the media all the time, and you can't stop that, but what you can do is create media, create our own media that's, you know, true stories from here local that, you know, I'll walk down the street and they'll see someone that I know, they'll say, hey, you should do a story on this, and I can do that and send it out to the entire world. But that doesn't come easy. It's got to be done consistently. It's got to be done right. It's got to be done, I mean, with this process. And, you know, it's got to be done with someone who's not afraid of the border, who loves this place, and is bilingual. So we can really make an impact with all these, you know, photos, with the writing, with the videos. It's just got to be done very, very consistently. Thank you.
Mr. Lugo?
Yes.
By any chance, are you related to former Mayor Artone?
Yes. Mayor Doan was my grandpa.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm glad to see you come back to Nogales, and and kind of giving a little back to the community. He was very well liked. He was mayor from early 60s to late 70s. So,
Thank you very much.
thank you for still being a part of the
Oh, you bet. Thank you. Oh, I forgot to mention that. I'm so sorry. So we just started this YouTube page, and we have, I think, 6 videos. It's already got 1,000 likes, about 1,000 likes. This one's been viewed about 300 times, and you can buy advertisement and get 20,000 people to view your commercial. But half of them are in the kitchen during commercial breaks, half of them are in the bathroom. People really don't want to watch the commercials. I skip through them on my DVR because I want to watch the TV show. This is 300 times that someone said, hey, you know what, I want to see something about this clock. It's 1,000 times that someone said, I want to see something about Nogales right here. And when you look specifically at that clock video, it's been shared on Facebook about 170 times. So that's someone said, you know what, that's really important, that's my community, or that's a community that I would like to visit sometime. I'm going to share this with my friends. And that's the impact that it has. And like I said, you do that consistently, you're going to see results. You're going to see the needle move, and you're going to see people coming because they like the video. They like, you know, the butterflies in Patagonia, or the aviary, the birding in Keno Springs. They're going to come to this area because they see that. I have a friend who's a birder. I'm always sending them videos. I mean, birds that we see here. A story from the International the other day. And I mean, he's like, okay, I got to get down there finally, you know, because I see so many birds, and he's really into that. And that's my goal. My goal is to get him down here pretty soon to see the birds. Thank you.
Thank you.
So just moving, also like we said about pictures, how important it is. We have also joined our team collaboratively. So we're 3 entrepreneurs from the community, born and raised here. And history is actually really interesting of why he's here and why he's doing this. And these, believe it or not, are his images. When we first presented the one of the courthouse, one of the board members at the chamber was like, wait, is that the White House? That can't be us. And yeah, it is. But look how different the perception is when you photograph something bright and how beautiful it actually looks. No matter what the angle is, but it's just about having that creative eye, and that's what we want to do for Nogales, is change the perception and definitely increase how beautiful this area actually is. So without further ado, this is Mr. Arabia, and he's with Precious Dreams Photography. He's also part of our collaborative design team. So.
First of all, good evening, Mayor, council members, and the audience. My name is Roberto Heredia. I'm a native of Nogales. A little history about myself. We own a little small photography business, my wife and I, Erica. I was in the Army for 5 years. After the Army, I came back to Nogales and worked for the fire department for 10 years. And I still love my coworkers in the back and miss them. And then I joined the United States Border Patrol. I'm currently a Border Patrol agent and stationed here in Nogales. And the reason we got into photography is because, as you know, my wife is a boss and she wanted a camera. And I finally purchased a camera for her about 2 years ago, along with some online courses. And we both ended up taking the courses, and I fell in love with photography. The reason I fell in love with photography is because throughout my job experiences, since I was 17 all the way up to now, I've seen firsthand the dark side of humanity, dark side of life. And through photography, it allows me to see the beautiful side of life, as well as the beautiful side of human nature. And I hope that with my pictures, I can bring that beautiful side, you know, to everybody. After taking several pictures, I decided to send the pictures to the Nogales Chamber of Commerce, because also I was getting aware that the Nogales, you know, if you punch in Nogales on Google, all you see is Border Patrol agents arresting people, drug loads being busted in the area. You don't see anything of the beautiful landmarks that we have here in Nogales. Nogales, we are rich in history, rich in culture, that even predates the history of the pilgrims here in the United States. After getting in touch with the chamber, we came up with a concept, and I've been going all over Santa Cruz County again to bring awareness and to see how beautiful the area really is. I also would like to bring awareness to the younger generations and even to the older generations. And we get so in tune with our routines that sometimes we don't see the beauty of the area, of our own hometown. And again, by me, you know, putting these pictures up and publishing them, I hope that I can bring awareness and get the younger generations to love our town even more. One of very important aspects that I've learned thanks to the Chamber of Commerce in Nogales is the use of social media. Since I joined the Chamber of Commerce, I have yet to print a business card, and I've had a steady stream of customers, in the 2-3 months that I've been a member of the Chamber of Commerce. Again, I really thank, the Chamber of Commerce and thank the city to giving me this opportunity. And I hope again through my pictures that I can, bring awareness and bring Nogales back up to the mark. And thank you very much.
So that's our presentation of the many projects that we've collaboratively worked together, and we've honestly done all of this in the span of less than 6 months. So we're just really excited to see what's going to come out of this in the future. We have many projects still planned out in the future, but of course, it takes a team, so we're very happy that we're a team. So now we want to include in our team so we can all do this collaboratively and make Nogales, Arizona presence positive, strong, and really definitively online. Because right now the world is transforming, and I see about 4 iPads here, so that's what's going to be the future. So we want to take Nogales in that direction. So I'm open for any questions, or if you want to ask my team members for any questions too.
It's good to see you back. I know you're still studying.
Yes, I'm still at ASU. I'm doing PR and digital media, so this is my area of study. So luckily, this is also my way of giving back to my community through my education. So I'm still going to school. I'm still in Tempe, but I commute, so I can make sure that all these projects are completed along with my team members.
Well, I think we're fortunate that we have Mrs. Kramer here that's in charge of the chamber, and then you as her daughter are kind of following the footsteps of these coming back, and again also contributing. I'm glad that we have these young folks here from this area that are doing so much for the community. It amazes me with the modern technology how things are unfolding, and I'm glad the younger generations are keeping us connected. Thank you again for your participation in helping the chamber and helping the community. The presentation was, it's really nice the way you bring out the life of the community. I mean, we still have, we have the courthouse, the church that looks always so beautiful, the old high school. I mean,
There's plenty of pictures more to see online, so if you like, visit Nogales, Santa Cruz County. You see us pictures, beautiful images that they just shot at Rico Golf Course that, this is what we want to publish in a magazine. So it's really your community. We just have the privilege and the pleasure of promoting it. So thank you for letting us do this and letting your community be showcased in this way. So really, it's mutual. We really thank you too.
I'd like to see the former governor's house out there in Crawford come out and display. That was always a beautiful home. It still is, and it has so much history in it. So, the whole community. You guys can find a lot here. But thank you for your participation. I don't know. Does anybody have any questions?
Mr. Mayor, I just wanted to make sure that these are 3 new businesses in town.
Yes, this is what started off Daniel and I are freelance, so but we turned it into a business. So Innovative Food Solutions, which is a company I founded along with my younger brother. We do this for small businesses. And if you look at Pinitos, Marisco Chihuahua, those are some of our clients. So that way, when people visit them, they know what it is. And something, that we grew up with, Pinitos, how could it not be online, So we put it online, and it's been extremely successful. And Mr. and Mr. Rendon are in love with it. Daniel does freelance videography, journalism work, photography as well. So we're doing this collaboratively with small businesses. Precious Dreams Photography. If you have a wedding, you have graduation pictures to take care of, newborn pictures, they're your go-to. Honestly, they capture pictures that should be on a Gerber ad. They're beautiful images. So it's really, it works collaboratively, and this is the direction where technology and innovation is going. So.
Anyone else? Good job.
Thank you, and thank you so much for your patience. Thank you to the audience for being so patient to us seeing this through. We hope that, in the future you'll be keeping an eye on us, and we'll be keeping you updated. So thank you again for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. going on, again, item 6, discussion and action. Number 2, presentation of donations from Union Pacific to local nonprofit organizations. Do we have the recipients here today? From these organizations that are nonprofit? You know, we had some from Boys and Girls Club. Anybody from Boys and Girls Club here? Oh, okay. I guess they must have put the wrong meeting on their schedule or something. I wasn't sure if they were going to be here today. I think I'd either like to do it on an occasion that's addressed where the public's going to be, and since there's none of the recipients showed up, I think we'll table it and do it on a future date. But I'll just mention that Union Pacific, I guess when I first came on the council, we were addressing the issue about how they could help the community with maybe some grants, some scholarships, and any help that they could provide here for the communities, and considering that we have to kind of put up sometimes with those railroad crossings and whatnot to get tied up. But they were very gracious. The president of Union Pacific came actually last year, and he presented some of those presentations to the recipients here in Nogales, and left the information on how they could apply these nonprofit organizations to Union Pacific. So we had 4 recipients this year, and we will be addressing and presenting them with their awards. It's about $25,000 between the 4. So at least Union Pacific is stepping up to the plate, and they're doing a little more for the community. Hopefully they'll continue to be a blessing to this community one way or another, and we'll continue to urge them along. So anyway, we'll table this and set it for another date. Going under item 6, we've got number 3, discussion and possible action on city-supported community events. And again, I've been having, I put that on, I've been having some discussion. People have been asking, again, the fiestas, I guess the fiestas are up on us, and they've been wondering if the city is paying down too much for that event. So I kind of got some information, I guess, on that. And one of the things, I guess, that we were supposed to have, like, the city was supposed to provide like $2,000 or something last year on the event, but with in-kind and money given, it kind of went to $9,500. So we're putting it to see if we want to keep it on that class or of A, or bring it back down to B, and that's the reason that it's on the discussion and action item, so that the council can talk about it and decide what they want to do. So if there's any questions or any discussion on that?
Mr. Mayor, I'm sorry.
Well, Vice Mayor, go ahead.
Mr. Mayor, since I'm new to the council, I'm not, I guess, aware of the classifications and how that works. Could staff sort of provide me some background on what the classifications are and what does that mean?
Yes, sir. I'll read it to you. There's several classifications. I'll make sure I get it right. Mr. Mayor?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Mr. Vice Mayor, a Class A event will provide the level of support and budget as determined by the City Council in the Council's annual fiscal budget. Support these specific events may include, in addition, the use of city equipment and or property. That would be a Class A event. Mr. Vice Mayor? Are you reading along with me?
I've just got this, and now I've seen what.
Okay. Would you like me to continue, Mr. Vice Mayor?
Maybe for the audience so that everyone knows too. I may be the only one, but.
Mr. Mayor, Class B event may be approved and supported in amount not to exceed the in-kind value of $1,000. Mr. Mayor, Class C event may be approved and supported by the city only on the condition that the city recovers the full cost of its support over and above the in-kind value of $1,000. A Class D event, Mr. Mayor, is an event that may be approved and supported by the city only on the condition that the city recovers its full cost for its support. Mr. Mayor, Class C and Class D events shall require a payment, well, that's just internal stuff. It just requires upfront payment of 50% and 50% paid 1 week after the event. Mr. Mayor, and these event classifications were approved back in 2011 by Mayor and Council.
And I guess at that time it was probably placed on a Class B, I believe.
At that time.
At that time. And then last year was placed on the Class A with our, I guess, our national and patriotic holidays, which is Christmas, I guess, 4th of July, and Veterans Day, and Memorial Day. The only thing that seems like this event, the cost is going up considerably, and we're still kind of recuperating a little. So it's one of those things that, you know, you have a family in need, and the kids need shoes, and the parents are thinking, should we throw a fiesta for their birthday party, or should we buy them shoes? So that's where we're at here with this situation. Go ahead.
Mr. Mayor, this event is for the community. And I just want to remind you, 3 months ago, you talked to me and said that you were gonna fully support the event and you were gonna make it better than last year. So that was your words. So this is an event that we're putting together, that we're helping the city with the event. That means the city is providing part of it, and then we are providing. When I mention we, is the cultural center, and Councilman Acosta and Councilman Diaz are involved. So it's a community event for Nogales. According to Mr. Parada, it's an event for Mexico. So most of the revenues that we have within the city come from Mexican people, don't forget that. So
Right.
do they deserve? It's not for Mexicans, it's an event that is being here forever. We're not doing it just from 2 years ago. It's been for years, the event.
Right.
And you were part of it.
No, yes, and I'm not criticizing the event, Councilman Lopez. I'm just saying what's been happening lately with, you know, again, it's one of the things that does bring some revenue to the community. We also have a big need right now, and recreation is one of those things that also brings revenue to the community. You get all these tournaments, you get all these teams that come and play, but yet we don't have fields. We're short on fields. There's a lot of parents that are upset because their kids don't have where they can practice their soccer. Right now we have 2 good programs here in Nogales that need those fields. We have Little League and soccer. We even have baseball that the older folks play, and a lot of them would like to go back to that co-ed slow pitch softball, but yet we don't have the fields, and we're giving priority to the kids, mostly because it keeps them off the streets. It keeps them organized in something. It keeps them from being stuck in the computer all day long. It gives them, you know, and outside, the lifestyle they receive by being involved in sports, keeping healthy, being more concerned with the nutrition, the food they take into their body so that they can have, you know, that extra edge while they're out there participating in sports. These are healthy lifestyles. These are lifestyles that they're going to carry throughout their life. And right now, because of those needs, there's a balance that needs to go where are the priorities? Is it first the kids? And yeah, and again, I think the fiestas are nice. They kind of help to get the people out and get together, but at the same time, kind of the city is still watching they're dollars. I think, you know, that's one of the things that we're gonna have to look at, and again, whatever the council decides, well, at least we know in what direction the majority of us are in favor.
Yes, Mayor, I want to rebuttal what you said, that I was voting against because there were some Mexicans. Well, I think she's wrong, she's always been wrong.
No.
If you make a total of all the money that's being spent on the 5th of May, it's not only 6,000. You better round that up to 3 more zeros or 4 more zeros. But anyway, the reason why I've always been fighting this because Veterans Day being a national holiday, Memorial Day being a national holiday, was being ignored for many years, for over 70 years. The 5th of May was always going on top. And I don't think, in my opinion, you know, if any national holiday that belongs to our country should always be first. Any other holiday from another foreign country, wherever country it comes from, shouldn't be in the same status as our national holiday.
Well,
Mr. Mayor?
yes,
one more
go
question.
ahead.
When he mentions the holidays, the memorial and whatever, they have a budget for that.
Yes.
If you're not making it something big, it's your problem. You have the budget.
For the first time, we had a budget last year, all right? So don't tell me that we had a bit of budget, all right?
You could work
And
for it.
the thing is, that this is the United States of America. Do we celebrate the 4th of July, Mexico?
We do.
Oh, you do?
The consulado did,
Oh,
and you
yeah.
were there.
That was, oh, yeah. But,
Okay.
Can I go out with American flag to the street?
Why not?
Well, I won't. they're
Go
good.
ahead and do it.
Yeah, it's invading Mexico. But anyway, what I'm saying, that the veterans have been ignored, and Memorial Day, people that died for this country, to have you here, have ourselves here for a better life, gave their ultimate, gave their
Take care of
lives.
it.
All right?
We'll take care of it.
Well, we are taking care of it. We're making our national holidays a priority.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
They'll be number one. And I make a move, Mr. Mayor, that we put her in a classification B and leave our national holidays as they are. At the same level as nobody else. And also, she's been going against the city charter all this time, all these years, every time she runs a program.
Really?
The ones that's supposed to run the programs is the recreation department.
Really?
Yes.
Well, did you go through the charter and it says
Well,
that?
look for it.
Do we have some more discussion on this? We have.
Was that the motion?
Well,
Was that the motion?
I think it's a motion to.
was there a second? We didn't get a second.
I'll second.
Oh, you got a second? Okay. Okay, there's a. Oh, is that a second?
Yeah, no, that was a discussion.
Oh,
Well,
well, I guess they,
Second.
I second.
yeah, they placed the motion and you have a second. Well, if, that's fine, if, let's just bring it to a vote, I guess, and we could probably go all night discussing this, but it's you know, it's pretty simple. It's a good program, but the city, even whatever classification we give it, unless we go real low, I don't know if the motion, was there a classification that you said, that you mentioned the classification? What classification?
Move from A to B.
To B. So in B, it's still, the city is still gonna be participating as funding, helping fund that event. So, yeah.
In category B, the city will only have $1,000. A big event with $1,000, and it represents the city of Nogales. Even in your pamphlet, you mentioned the Fiesta de Mayo. They give the credit to the city of Nogales. They don't give it to me, like he's mentioning like me. It's not me. It's for the city of Nogales. So with $1,000, you're gonna have a big event like the one we'll be having. When you mentioned you were gonna really help us with this event, now you're backing up.
Well, yeah, but in the past, I noticed last year and the year before the events, and we had it in the classification A last year, and yet the year before, I thought was even, not just as good, maybe a little better, and we still had it in the class B. So it just, what it all comes down to is the people that are involved, and if you get a few more merchants involved, if you get a few more people downtown involved, I think you can have even a better fiesta than you had last year. So it all depends how the community, in most cities, the merchants and everybody that celebrate, like Tucson, they celebrated, they come together, they make a big celebration there. And it's, you know, it's again, it's the community pulling together. So I guess we just need to get the direction of the
Can I
council
just
on
make a
this.
quick comment? Real quick?
Okay.
Okay, we are the gateway to Mexico. We are 90% Hispanic here in Nogales. Our national holidays naturally come first. You know, I am the first one to say I'm a veteran, I'm the commander of the VFW. We have a great Memorial Day. We have a great Veterans Day with parades of food and everything. It's just been, you know, outstanding. And I want to thank the city of Nogales for, Mr. Parada, yourself for bringing the item with the food to the club for the past few years. So I want to thank everybody involved with making, especially Veterans Day, a great event. But we also need to support the Mexican holidays because we are on the border. We do expect them to come and help us with all their purchases and everything like that. I've been to all the Cinco de Mayo celebrations. The Mexican authorities come and share the event with us, like we go and share the event with them in Mexico. It's whatever it is. You know, we both attend each other's events, and it gets us together where we're talking with Mexican dignitaries and they're talking to us. So we kind of go back and forth, which improves our relationship with Mexico. Right now I'm seeing the cost of the stage and the band. That was the high dollar thing here. So if the city maybe just did the in-kind, and maybe it could be up on the stage and at the Oslo, they could do something like that, and you would knock off $3,600 off the budget for Cinco de Mayo, and just do the in-kind.
So which one is better, B or C for the in-kind?
Well, the in-kind here, I'm seeing that there's $6,000 of in-kind in the report we got.
Yeah, that was quite a bit.
No, that's quite a bit. So, but it seems a lot for in-kind. I don't know how they got the figures or anything
Well,
like that, but.
they came from finance, which is pretty accurate. I think finance, we have a finance officer there that.
It's overtime, Mr. Mayor.
Pardon?
It's overtime.
It's overtime. So, but she looks at it to the penny. So
No,
whatever she gave us is
I'm saying
accurate.
just side, but now it's
overtime.
because it's overtime. So I don't know if we can negotiate something
Well,
or not.
I got, let's see, one more here with Vice Mayor.
Mr. Mayor, I'm just trying to get clarification on the whole budget process and trying to get I guess a better handle on the cost. So I don't know if John or Sherry can help me out. So the Class A's, Class B's, all these are done through the budget process.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes,
This is the way staff deals with this issue, Mr. Vice Mayor. If the mayor and council specifically call out in the budget a budget amount supporting an event, staff recognizes that as a Class A event. Currently, I believe they have five events
That was gonna be my next
mayor and
question.
council.
Which are the events that have been?
You have your Christmas parade, 4th of July, Veterans Day, Memorial Day, Cinco de Mayo.
And they each have a separate budget, or
They
is
each
it
have they have a separate budget and as it being a Class A event, it's a city-sponsored event. Not only do we have a budget to go out and purchase stages, whatever we need to purchase, the city puts its resources behind it also.
So when you come up with the budget, is the in-kind calculated into that budget, or is that
No, sir.
an open book?
The in-kind is calculated in each department's budget. So as the chief of police, for an example, puts his budget together with overtime, he contemplates his overtime budget to take care of 5 city events. he fills it into his budget.
But it's not specific to, I mean, it's not, when you
It's
look at
not
that.
called out.
Okay.
But as he puts his budget together, he contemplates what his officers are gonna need to do throughout the year to provide the security for that kind of stuff.
And my understanding is this was a Class B event in the previous years, and I guess that's the other question, how many Class B events do we have?
Class B events are events that come forward that are approved by, I'm assuming by Marcel and the city manager. As they come forward, they're Class B events, and
They're not part of the budget process?
they're not part of the budget process. The only ones that are part of the budget process are the Class A events.
Okay, so we don't know at this time how many Class B events we have?
No, because it depends on the year's activity, how many come in. I could probably go back and get your report, how many Class B events we've had throughout the year, but. I
Just
don't
on
have
average,
that.
what does it usually come out to on?
Marcel, do you know off the top of your head?
As of late, there's probably less Class B events. Initially, when we implemented this policy, we had quite a number of them, and that's the reason for instituting the policy, was because we were having so many groups approaching the city for their support, and it was just, became a, free-for-all. And obviously taxing the city's resources quite a bit. But now, if they're not an A event, for the most part, they're now Class D events, where they're actually having to pay full cost of the city support at this stage of the game.
And Mr. Vice Mayor, that, I don't know if you got a chance to read through the whole
I'm trying to
thing.
go back and forth.
Okay, if you jump to, number 4, it explains the different events, and how they're classified.
Thank you.
Do you have any more discussion, questions?
Did you want me to read that?
Do you have the?
I do have
Oh,
it.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Mr. Mayor, a Class A event is an event approved and designated by City Council. A Class B event is a community-wide nature that requires only the ordinary mobilization or use of city on-duty personnel, manpower, or services. A Class C event is an event of community-wide nature that requires an extraordinary mobilization or use of city on-duty and off-duty city personnel, manpower, and services. And a Class D event is the event that's commercial in nature. I hope that helps you with making your decision.
Clear as mud.
Can you please repeat the motion again? Do you mind repeating the motion again, Mr. Parliament?
If we reclassify the 5th of May from A to B.
So, we got a second.
And there was a second.
Okay, so that's what we're gonna go ahead and vote on. All those in favor of the motion, of changing the classification of the fiestas, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Let's do a roll call on this one. Okay, we'll start with Mr. Diaz.
Nay?
No.
Aye.
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 Aye. So, I guess motion passed. We will be redesignating and making that event a Class B instead of a Class A.
I have a question, Mr.
Motion
Mayor.
carried.
It's okay if we don't consider doing the event? Because we always consider the mayor to be part of the event.
I
So
think,
you don't really care about the event, so is it okay if we don't consider it?
you know, if you want to make it a Class D, then you don't have to consider any of the councilmen or anybody over there. Would you like to-
I'm making you the question because you were the one that promised you were gonna help. So
Well,
you don't
you
wanna
know-
be part of the event.
You know,
Well,
if you
just
don't wanna
say yes or no,
recognize
and
me-
that's
If you don't
it.
want to
You don't have to-
recognize me, that's fine. You didn't recognize me last year either, so it doesn't, I can still go and have a good time, and enjoy the fiesta. I mean, it's the thing. The only thing is, that again, like I mentioned, we're concerned that there's a lot of folks that have a lot of needs and that we have to provide. And it's hard to tell them, we're gonna celebrate fiestas and we're not gonna give you the needs that your children need to continue to be involved in good, sound sport programs, because a lot of them are going across the border to do their practice, and I don't think that's right. So basically, that's, to me, it's more important to get our dollars together and invest them in our children here in the community. I like fiestas more than anybody else, but we gotta first take care of our needs. That's okay, fine, thank you for the warning.
It was just yes or no, that's all I wanted to hear. I don't want the explanation.
Okay, well anyway, motion carried, let's go to again now for discussion action items, line 6. We have number 4, presentation, discussion, and possible action regarding entering into a contract with CGI Communications to create a cost-free community showcase video program to promote tourism and economic development in Nogales. Councilman Diaz.
While in DC with National League of Cities, I was fortunate enough to make a contact with CGI Communications, and they would, at no cost, no risk, they can do a video promoting economic development, tourism here in Nogales. Like I say, free, no charge. I took it a step further and I had them contact Mr. White, our marketing analyst, because it really wasn't up my alley what they were talking about. I understood, but I didn't get the hands-on, so I had Aaron help me with it. Last week we talked with the people from CGI, and we were very, very impressed with their promotional program they had. And with that, we can partner with Chamber of Commerce, Nogales International. They would even employ our people here, like Mr. Woolfolk, doing the video, the presentation, and all that. And with all that being said, I'd like Aaron to come and do a presentation. Take the mic.
Mr. Mayor, if I yes, thank you very much. Here, if you want, let me get this computer. You got it? Thanks. All right, well, let's see if we can get this. So, thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. There should just be one statement packet per person. I really appreciate Mr. Diaz bringing this opportunity up. It seems like a tremendous opportunity, and maybe what I'll try to do is fill in a few of the gaps here. Also, I wanted to make sure you all are provided here with a copy of a frequently asked questions list from CGI Communications, as well as a draft contract and a letter. But probably instead of me talking, the best thing to do would be to see the work of this organization. So they've partnered with a number of communities in the state, but the ones that we'll look at here, so you see Coolidge, Arizona. This is their front page website for the city. And so you see here, as soon as you get to the website, you see this little, I don't know what you call this little bit here called Coolidge Showcase Video. So you see here that there are 6 different videos. Real estate, tourism, economic development, quality of life, and a welcome. So well actually, you know what, why don't we look, I liked Queen Creek better if you don't mind. So another community that they worked on was Queen Creek. So you see here, they have kind of the same button type thing here. So if we see this welcome, this is something that they could come in and do for us as well.
Hello, and welcome to Queen Creek. I'm Mayor Gail Barney of Queen Creek, Arizona. I'd like to show you a few things that make Queen Creek a unique place to live. We hope to see you soon.
The town of Queen Creek spans 26 beautiful square miles in south central Arizona and is a suburb of Phoenix. There are more than 31,000 residents who enjoy the benefits of living in this smaller rural community that, although near to a major metropolitan city, still enjoys excellent safety, easy commutes, fresh air, and many opportunities for recreation. A beautiful mountainous backdrop, excellent economic opportunities, a government with an eye on the future, and master plan friendly communities ready for future growth. It all waits for you here in Queen Creek.
So I'm not going to play any more videos, but so just to give you an idea, so this company would come in and at absolutely zero cost to the city. And Mr. Mayor, I know you wanted a certainty of that. I talked to Mr. Massey and Mr. Machado today. They looked at the contract and they feel comfortable moving forward and saying, looking at the contractual agreement, there's absolutely no financial obligation to the city. So they would come in and make up to 6 about 1-minute videos. And the topics that these videos could cover, really it's up to us. It's up to us to decide what those videos could be. Most of the ones that I have seen, they have a welcome video with, for example, the mayor or a member of the city council, or the city manager, or say the president of the Chamber of Commerce, saying welcome to the community, as well as other videos. And so with that, they would come in and shoot these videos. As Mr. Diaz said, they have the option of hiring a local videographer. Obviously, there are going to be certain standards of videography that this company would have to meet, I would imagine, for them to be contracted. But looking at the fine work that we saw here, I can't imagine that someone like our local videographer wouldn't be able to be contracted for that. And the whole process would take anywhere between 3 to 6 months to finish. They would come out for a few days and shoot video, take it back to their offices, do the final production and everything, and make it available. What the commitment on the city's part is to make these videos available on the city's website in a prominent place. And who doesn't want to make nice videos available in a prominent place on the website? And our commitment would be for 3 years for those videos. So really it's perfect timing as we have a new mayor and a new city council. It really opens up a nice opportunity for us to take advantage of that time frame. Now, so many times as I've talked to people about this opportunity, the question is, there's got to be a catch, right? About 1.5 years ago, we discussed making something like this with a price tag of $20,000, $25,000, and I think it didn't get past an initial conversation with the city council. But as you see here in Queen Creek, so around, they have this video banner here with a number of local businesses that have bought ad space on this banner. So, whatever their local businesses are. And so that opportunity would be made available to our local businesses to advertise through this. And they would focus on local businesses, locally owned businesses, not necessarily the national chain stores, but the businesses that everybody knows and loves from Nogales. I mean, obviously, it'll be open to whoever will pay. Like the Hampton Inn, obviously, is a national chain. But I don't recognize any of these other names because I don't live in Queen Creek, right? So it's pretty nice about that. And so that's how they get their money, right? By selling this advertising. It seems like a terrific opportunity, in partnering with partners from the Chamber of Commerce, that we can really create what we want out of this, what we want to portray to the community on behalf of the city.
Do they pick their advertisers? Like they were talking about getting these businesses that are going to be paying their $35 fee. Do they have first crack at that, or how's that going to work?
So what will happen, and in this packet that I sent you, local businesses will receive a copy of this letter, and it will be on city letterhead. And actually, as I was talking to talking to Coolidge and, hold on here, who's the other one I talked to? And Wickenburg. Sorry, no one answered me from Queen Creek. But as I talked to people in Coolidge and Wickenburg who have done this, and in fact Wickenburg has done it now 3 times since 2008, and I asked them up and down twice and 3 and 4 times, did you ever pay a penny? They said no, and we love it. It's been a great experience. But they said that sometimes there are some difficulties in the local businesses being confused that the city is trying to force them to buy advertising. And so in speaking with a lady from Wickenburg, she said, you gotta be really careful and message that clearly to your local business community, that this is an opportunity, that the city is partnering with this company, but obviously, you know, it's not mandatory, and it's up to them. So if they want to, they can, and we will, you know, we'll help their salesmen get to local stores, obviously, if that's what we want to do.
So they shouldn't get enough advertisers where we have no commitment.
That is exactly right. So I showed you Queen Creek because they have a number of advertisers. But if you look at Coolidge, I'm not going to watch the video here, but you notice there are no advertisers on the banner. And as I talked to the gentleman from Coolidge, he said that their salesman is out in the community, you know, trying to drum up the business, but I think only 1 or 2 have bought on. So whether our local business community buys into it or not, it doesn't change our obligation. Our obligation still remains 0.
The only commitment we have is that we gotta stay with them for 3 years.
Right. Yeah, we have to make the videos good.
Then the other thing that I think that council is more like that, is what kind of material are we going to be putting in there? Could you set up something for the next meeting and let us know, like, what do you have in mind and how it's going to, you know, how it's going to be developed, and if you've had any, maybe you can even check with some of these video guys over there, see what, you know, get kind of a cost, because I'm sure they charge that you get the work done. That way we can get an idea of what we're going to be spending on the whole thing. Just to have a better idea.
Mr. Mayor, if I may, there's like Aaron was saying, there is no cost to this. They'll come and do all the work. They'll hire the persons making the movie, the video, the photographers. They do all the expense. There's no expense on the city part. Zero cost.
Zero.
Do
they select the material?
No, we would select the material. That's why I was saying maybe Aaron can partner with Chamber of Commerce, Santa Cruz County, Nogales International, and maybe between everybody they can make something real nice for the whole county, for Nogales.
Mr. Mayor, this is a presentation discussion and also a possible action item. If the majority of the council agrees that this is something we would like to pursue, we will take that direction. It's about a 6-month process, and I can commit to you that we'll bring you back regular updates on this project, on where we're at, what we're going to use, how we're going to use it, what's going to be shown as we go through the project, if the council wants us to go down that road.
Yes, we have
I want to, excuse me, good evening. My name is Olivia Inza Kramer, the president of the Chamber of Commerce. And by looking at the presentation, I just wanted to make you aware, and Mr. Diaz, I want to clarify, it's not a free website. The city of Nogales will not be paying for the website. However, the businesses where they're going to be selling the advertising, like Nogales International does, like the Chamber does, those are the ones that pay.
Right.
Yes. Maybe we need to reword that and not send the wrong message to the business community and let them know the city is not paying a penny, but the businesses are gonna be paying for that. That's my observation, number one. The other one is that we're taking the money someplace else. We need to go ahead and see what are the hits on that website. We need to go ahead and get more information about, is it something positive that is gonna be attracting businesses, or giving more information about, you know, the community. That's the way I see it, and I mean, it's a very, very nice project. However, let's go ahead and change the wording about free website, because it's not. It's like the Nogales International, they sell advertising, and the businesses are the ones that are making the payment for the website too.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is the first I hear of this, and rest assured I have not spoken to Ms. Ainsa Kramer. She is my sister-in-law, full disclaimer. We just had a beautiful presentation from these three young upstarts. It's a no-brainer to me. They could easily put this together for the city of Nogales. They could sell the ads and to help support the Chamber of Commerce versus, as Ms. Ainsa Kramer said, taking the money out of the community. So that's my own comment.
Thank you. This is Kramer. Can I be a little more direct and ask that question? Is the chamber, did the chamber come up with something like this?
I'm sure that working with partnership of all the businesses that we have, I mean, the Nogales International and the businesses that gave the presentation, that's why I asked them to go ahead and give the presentation, because I think it's time for us to start looking into small businesses, micro businesses, and especially people that are seeing very different the way that everybody sees Nogales.
Well, I don't know, I kind of like that comment. Thank you, Mr. Copeland, and that get involved, the local youth, the people that are coming out of college, and they have the capabilities and the training. You know, why don't we study this a little more this coming month and rehash it on the next meeting? That way we can get a better idea. Yes, Vice Mayor.
Mayor, I was just wondering, my assumption is that both would be charging for ad space, and if you can find out what the other firm out of the National League of Cities, what they charge for ad space, and perhaps the chamber can come up with what they would be charging. That way we know, at least the businesses would know what they would be charged for ad space. I think it could probably be done locally, and we probably should support locally, but if they can't, we have another option.
Mr. Mayor, if I may, you know, I think always if we can go locally, that's terrific. You know, my hesitancy here is that this. Let's say we move forward with this company, they make this, you know, these videos for us, and we're the same as Coolidge. Nobody wants to buy the ads. You know, so if that happens with CGI, we still have no risk. And I see that as a risk to our local businesses, that if no ads are purchased, you know, is the city going to be on the hook to pay for that or not? I think it's something that obviously would need to be discussed, right? I think if we look at trying to do local businesses do all of this, there'd have to be some feasibility, you know, studied here to see if local businesses are willing to buy that ad space. I think Coolidge moved forward in saying, we don't care if local business buys the ad space or not, we're going to make these videos. You know, and so I don't know if our local businesses would be willing to buy the ad space or not. I just don't know. And I would hate to put the risk either on the city or on our small local businesses to, you know, on that.
Thank you, Mayor. Mr. Mayor, I believe a price that they would charge whoever wants to advertise is anywhere from $1,000 to $5,000 one-time fee for 1,000 to 5,000, right?
Well, if I may, Mr. Mayor, that number was for those businesses to create their own videos. So there would be some type of you know, advertising scale here, where if you just put your button on here with a link that goes to your website, that's going to be a different price, much lower price, than if you also pay this company to create a video for you. So that would be more of the $1,000 to $5,000.
Possibly, before you take action on this item, maybe you would want us to bring it back to you And in the meantime, we can work with the chamber, and they can also put for lack of a better term, a counter proposal to this.
Yeah.
And we can bring them both forward, and hopefully we can do it locally, and we can move forward on it.
Would you be willing to get involved in that, Mrs. Kramer? And give us a proposal about, get a feel out there of.
I think that this question will be to the entrepreneurs that we have here, as well as the Nogales International, because this will be between all of us to go ahead and do a project like that.
And you could
Mr.
get,
Coppola, would you be interested in doing something like that?
Absolutely.
why don't we,
30 days or so, maybe?
yeah, then why don't we just go ahead and get some feedback for the next meeting, and then we'll take it from there. I think that'd be fair. The good thing about it is that it doesn't go away, right? Right. It'll still be there 30 days. Okay, so that's good. So we're good then. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. So you're all comfortable in waiting until we get the rest of the feedback? But thanks for bringing that up, Councilman. I think you opened a new door there and new interest. It looks like it's a good thing.
I hope so.
Thank you. Okay, going again. Item 6, line 5, presentation and discussion of possible action on the Hohokam and Pearson Amphitheater. Both Councilman Diaz and Parada. I guess, I don't know who you want to start it off.
Well, Mayor, if I may, I just brought it up for an update. I believe Mr. Guerra has a presentation on some kind of amphitheater cost. We have 4th of July coming up real soon, and if we do this, it would be great if we could do it now to save that $7,000 for setting up the stage at Fletcher Field. So I think right now it's becoming, if we're going to do it, I think it should be done like right now, so we can save that money and put it in towards building that amphitheater.
There's one thing that I was looking at, took consideration. I spoke to Mr. Bachiller, Parks and Recreation Director, and one of the concerns of having it over there that we haven't, like I said, hadn't surfaced because of the situation, the way the shortage of fields are right now. The amphitheater would really stress out that part. And with soccer unfolding the way it is, we need more soccer fields. And so that's why I think Councilman Parada was, and he spoke, I guess they spoke to the school district to see if we could get some more, not only the amphi over there, and they okayed that. They agreed to that, right?
Yes, sir, they did.
And they also agreed to have temporary soccer fields there, and then hopefully maybe in the future, down the road, the city can afford to put a lighting system there so they can practice at all hours, especially during the cooler months. That's when it gets dark sooner, and that's right now in the summer. We're fortunate that the sun goes down late here, and it kind of helps a lot. But those are some of the needs, and so the thing that they came up with that field, that is, there's a natural seating place there for. And the other thing, I guess, that field, the soccer field there, where normally we have the 4th of July, takes a beating throughout the year. And right now, it's closed down because they have to redo the field. I guess they're sodding it or seeding it or whatever it is, and getting some life back to it. So those are some of the concerns, and that's why right now it seems like, considering that already we have a good communication with our, I guess, the school system, and they're willing, well, that field's available. And I don't know, Mr. Parada, I think you have something you want to say about that.
Yes, I talked to Mr. Parra just to fill him out for what we could do, not only about the stage that's already there at the high school, but also the field that's out there in the Chandler School. He said that we could get an okay to get the both places, and then we have to work on the field over there to get up to par. And I think that's gonna cost us a couple of dollars. We can make a capital project for that field. But he said he could work it in with the ARGA that exists right now. They have one for the Memorial Park. But then I brought this up, look, we want a better IGA understanding, because if we invest $100,000 on that field for the kids, and there's a change in administration, and they want the field back, they're gonna lose the $100,000 investment, in a period of time, because the investment we put in. So I think we can, but he said they're willing to do it, and willing to have it. So we're gonna have to work on an IGA. I guess you can work some of that. That will cover, give us some time so we can at least get the money's worth of it. So he agreed on it. So he said he's all for it. He's all for it for the kids. Because I was there with Mr. Vasilier in his office, and I see them, a massive bunch of people, the parents and people that I have never seen in my life, arguing that they need more fields because they have other leagues coming in, and kids, smaller kids, there are 2,000 kids in the summer. Both leagues are at the same time, the soccer and the baseball league. So, it's a mass confusion. I don't know how my Chidez been handling all this, but he's been doing a good job and trying to set 1 hour, 2 hours for each team to be practicing. But it's a big mess. And the only reason on that other auditorium up here is that once you build it, it'll be a public, it's open for the public. And any guitars or any other people that want to come over and perform, they're gonna have to, you can deny it. So that's gonna also hurt the field for the kids, for the users of the field. We need more fields. And at the same time, we need to make a master plan of recreation to see how we can get fields in. Because the kids are all over. And we need entertainment, we've got to make the citizens, they need recreation. And we need the park.
Councilman Diaz?
Mr. Mayor, on this one at Ron Turley Park here in Nogales, this, you could limit the use of it. If you just used it for 4th of July, that thing would pay for itself in no time at all. And you could just use it for 4th of July. Limit the use. Don't let everybody go out and use it. Just use it for 4th of July only. Can you imagine the cost savings in the future that the city will have? You have a permanent structure there for events, and if later on you want to do something else, you can. It's there, and it belongs to the city. No IGAs, no nothing. City of Nogales property, and that's it. And we decide who uses it, when they're going to use it. We can do that, and I know we can do that. And it's already there, and it'll be there for forever. It'd be a good investment for the city of Nogales.
But we also need that amphitheater.
I understand, we need fields, we need a lot of things here in Nogales.
And the one on Pearson would be open for concerts, or somebody wants to go show art displays, or they want to go read some poems or
what's going to happen
recitals.
to their field too? Because they got a field there. What's going to happen to their field?
You're talking about Pearson?
Pearson.
No, but see, the people sit on top.
Yes,
It's a regular natural, like in the old Roman auditoriums, and the stage will be on the bottom. It won't affect the field. It won't even affect the track. See, that's a whole different enchilada. So luckily, if the field's big enough to support all these events, and that's why we thought it was a good place.
Mr. Mayor? I'm also very glad that we have this item on the agenda, so maybe council can take some action and direct staff on which direction you would like us to go, whether it's pursuing Hohokam and Pearson only, not Hohokam or not Pearson, because we're spending a lot of time and resources developing plans and this project to get construction costs. And we can hear a little bit of dialogue that probably should maybe happen up front before we started down the road, but I'm glad we're hearing the dialogue, and maybe you can give us some direction on which direction you want it to go. Holcomb, Pearson, both, one, neither, you know, it's up to you. Because
Well, I think we do have right now an open door there at Pearson. We need to pursue it to get that amphitheater. And at the same time, you know, kind of have those fields. We eventually will put a little money into them, and that way they can, you know, we could probably get 3 soccer fields out of that, Pearson. And so those are the things that we're going to be looking at. I don't know, Mr. Bachiller, do you have anything else that you'd like to say or give direction? I think that it was like Councilman Diaz is saying, we have to look at the feasibility of it just being for the 4th of July, and that's it. How do you feel about that?
Mr. Mayor, just so that's clear, I am not against an amphitheater. I think it's a wonderful idea, and something that this community needs, and it's been a long time coming. My only concern is I would echo the comments that have been made here already regarding the high demand for Ron Turley Field. It's just huge. As easy as it may sound to be able to restrict use of a down the road future amphitheater at Ron Turley Field, you guys all know the reality of a decision like that coming from this council. It's going to be difficult to
Say no?
Yes, absolutely.
I think the phrase on that is, build it and they will come.
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely.
And it'll be hard to say no.
And it'll be hard to say no. Yes, Vice Mayor said.
Mayor, I still haven't seen a budget for the amphitheater, so I'm just wondering, what are we looking at cost-wise to?
I don't know what the budget numbers are on that, but I know Juan will probably have that.
Mr. Mayor, we do have some initial cost estimates to do an amphitheater at Holcomb. Currently, we're working on putting a design and maybe getting some construction costs for an amphitheater at Pearson. So we can share with you, and it's on the presentation, what it will cost us to build an amphitheater at Holcomb, like I said. And then, do you have on this Pearson?
I have the presentation for Pearson, but not the cost.
Okay, so we have a presentation to show you conceptually what one at Pearson would look like, but with no cost.
Mr. Mayor, I would recommend that we probably come up with a budget and then direct staff with the budget we have to find a location that they can accommodate what we have for a budget, and also maybe identify some other parameters such as parking, access, etc., that would make it more of a all-encompassing location rather than limit ourselves to a couple locations. Let staff go out and beat the bushes, and with the budget we have, come up with a plan. Maybe they'll surprise us.
Would you like us to go to the presentation?
Would you like to see the presentation? It's there. Give us an idea of what the future might look like.
Well, I have both of the presentations for you tonight. This is for Holcomb. I have put a little bit of work. I personally prepared the drawings for this amphitheater, and I requested quotes from local contractors. I have a combination of quotes, and you will see it. So this is just to guide you a little bit how I organize this presentation, putting the quotes separated and then combining. So here you have the combination of quotes from different vendors. And as you can see, the first row shows the highest, the most expensive, to the bottom, the cheapest. So we go from almost 60,000 without including installation of the shade structure and footing. So the top two doesn't include any installation of the shade structure and footing. So the two bottoms includes everything. So I just need to get confirmation from one of the contractors to if he wants to proceed only with the shade structure, and then they committed to do it in-house. Is instead of buying the structure itself and then paying for the installation and footings. So this contractor will manufacture the shade structure and construct the footings and everything.
What is this amphitheater gonna look like?
Okay. Okay, these are the drawings that I prepared. Obviously, are big scale, 24 by 36, showing the area of before. Let me see. Before I presented to you in prior council meetings two options, which one of them was a much longer amphitheater going to the edge of this step here, and then another smaller version, which is just stopping here, just widening this existing. This is the existing concrete pad that we have there. So the idea, the recommendation given by Mayor and Council in the last meeting was to do a combination of the last two alternative, which is in the middle, middle size amphitheater. This is 19 by 30. 19 in this way, and 30 in this way. This is the, right here is the Parks and Recreation building, so you are seeing, and then also I'm connecting this new concrete path with concrete sidewalls to these stairs on both sides. Something similar to the drawing prepared by Mr. Dilly, if you remember. So I'm trying to follow this.
Do you have an elevation conceptual drawing on there?
Well, not for this one, but I have pictures of the proposed shade structure. So these are just construction details, how the concrete blocks should be installed, general notes. These are some of the quotes that I obtained. You will see basically different quotes from different local contractors. Yeah. No, 37 something. And then this is just the concrete pad expansion. So this is from another local contractor just for the concrete pad expansion, 18. This is the third one, and it's, oops, sorry. Okay, this is the third one, similar, 37,000, but this includes, excuse me, 40 something? Yeah, includes everything. Includes 41. Includes everything: installation, the expansion of the concrete pad, and the shade structure done locally. So this is the company who sells the shade structures that I will show you in the next pictures. This is a vendor. That's what they do only. So they provide everything with the maps and instruction how to install this, but no footings at all. So we have to pay for that service as well. So the shade structure recommended for the amphitheater at Hohokam was by the vendor, and it makes sense, this structure, because the columns will be at the back, and then in the front there is nothing for the spectators to, instead of having columns in the front. So, and then this is this will cover the entire path, which is 20 by 30. So let's see. This is just typical details for the footing. So these were another type of structure analyzed, and I got a quote also. But again, this has columns in the front, and this is more like for a park or for benches than an amphitheater. This is for quotes for those other type of shades. And, again, another type of shade structure, not, I guess, adequate for an amphitheater, but it's up to us to decide what type of. Well, that's it. What I have. Basically, I have the plan view and a sample of the
shape started.
So Juan, what you're saying that in the ballpark is around $50,000 to build this amphitheater as you kind of showed it over there at Hohoka?
We can go from 32,000 up to 60,000.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, the good thing is, like Councilman Diaz said, that's our property. The city doesn't have to worry about it. We can build this thing anytime we want. If we need another one or if things plan out in that direction. But right now, with a shortage of fields, and we build one right now, even if it's very hard. I think we probably drive. I know how the people get there with Mr. Lachilier. It seems like they want to tar and feather him when he says no to them. And we don't need that kind of I guess negative feelings from our community. I think we'd be provoking them in that sense. I think we're better off probably building up the one right here, a real amphitheater here at where you already have the seating and everything, and it doesn't affect. Where are the people going to sit down? They're going to sit down in the field or something because they're going to use that. Even if we put limited, we're going to get in, and then they're going to start putting those chairs in that expensive field that we have to treat every year to bring the grass back, and when you start putting seats in there, those tubular ends go into it, and it's almost like tilling the soil again. But not only that, it's going to compete with the need of the children, with the need of the soccer field that we need for the kids to play in them. Whereas over there, it won't affect the field because it's independent of the field. And so I would think that we'd be better off starting over there at Pearson, now that we have the window open. As long as we can get an agreement with legal that'll hold, then we're okay. Then we could get an cost estimate from Mr. Guerra. But we know now at least what we have over here, and we can implement that. If things don't work out over here, then we can consider going over there, because we have control of the fees. So that's my recommendation.
One more quick comment, Mr. Mayor, if I may?
Yes.
Let's build both. In 5 years, you could pay the one at Turley Field, but it'll pay for itself in 5 years. 5 4th of July, it's paid for.
What is the cost right now of setting up a stage?
7,000 from what I hear.
I don't know that answer.
No, with the stage and the sound equipment, it's $7,200. That doesn't, so that's just the
But the
stage.
sound equipment shouldn't be included.
So I'm gonna say it's probably $4,000 a year for the stage.
4,000. So we're talking about 12 years down the road.
Say 10 years down. It's still 10 years you're investing in the future for Nogales.
No, that's true.
It's a good investment.
But right now, I think the economy here locally is still slowly improving, and all we need is one right now. I think the direction to go is with Pearson if things work out and legal agreement. And we can always build there at Fletcher Park or Mount Turner Park. The soccer field.
Well, you can start saving money now, investing in the future right now.
Well, 4,000. I think we save money right now just by not spending 10,000 on fiestas over here. That's a good saving. But anyway, those are the reasons. And we got to look at our basic needs, and we got to see, we got to attend that. And so let's get some more information from and see what direction by next. So by next meeting, we can get a clear-cut direction. We need to find out a little more here about the legal, how things will work out with our IGA and Pearson. That's my recommendation. If you want to take action on it, that's fine. But that's the only thing is that I don't think we need to jump into anything right now and then be sorry down the road.
Well, Mr. Mayor, I'm hearing that possibly we'll go explore Pearson, bringing back some construction costs, see if there's any cost sharing partnering with the school, bring back both of those projects to you for
I think that'd be better, that way everybody in the council would have a better view of things.
Yes, sir. That's all the.
All right, thank you.
I hear those guys at the school are hard to work with.
Well, I know one with that. The car sharing part especially.
Okay, so, next on item 6 is, I guess we have, the number 6 is discussion and possible direction regarding the Tohono O'odham Nation annual grant application.
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor. Every year we get a request from the nation to apply for a grant. We have on several years made application for the grant. We have not been successful for quite some time now. However, staff has made a couple of recommendations on what we think might be successful and what's possibly needed. It was included in your agenda, and we'd just like to get some input and direction from mayor and council if you want us to make some type of an application to Tohono O'odham, and maybe if you want to do it by category or by project itself.
Well, any questions from the council, or do you have some more input? Or?
I can read it.
Mr. Mayor, maybe if I may, just add a little bit more background to that. The last couple of years, we requested funding for a public safety building, a marketing campaign, business attraction, stuff like that, a new pathway at Fletcher Park, that was last year, as well as police communications equipment. The last time the city was awarded, we were awarded $150,000 in 2007 for the acquisition of the Science House, which is no longer there. So that money was never, well, it was never used for the acquisition of the Science House. The city has held on to that money since then, and I think we've spent some of it recently this fiscal year. So no grant applications, though they have been, at least in our opinion, good applications. They have all come back as no-goes, no votes.
Do you have any questions? Yes, Vice Mayor.
Mr. Mayor, Aaron, have we had any discussions with the tribe to get a sense of what kind of projects they would be likely to fund? Like an amphitheater?
That's it.
They hold that very tight.
Yeah, if you look at the application announcement, they look for 6 specific categories. They're in the memo. I'll read them for you. Education, healthcare, public safety, child advocacy, economic development, and cultural and environmental development and protection. I don't see anything there in regards to recreation per se, but of course that could be.
We're talking about the amphitheater. That's cultural.
Right, sure. And in our past applications, at least the ones that I've done in the last 3 years, I try to hit on every single one, whether it's a stretch or not. I try to incorporate, the mission of the Tohono O'odham into the application to try to make it as attractive as possible. So we have not asked for an amphitheater. So some of the other things, at least that have been communicated either through a CDBG application or other things to the City Council. On this memo, the soccer field in Monte Carlo is one potential project. More substantial work at the old City Hall. There have been conversations about the Hilltop Gallery and its feasibility or sustainability. Also updates at the Senior Citizen Center. I think the list obviously can go on.
A bit about public safety, how about the building next door? Let's say, for instance, for the PD.
For the Chase Bank building. I don't think anything is, I think everything's on the table. Right?
Public safety, one.
I mean, cultural, you didn't even tell them that we got talked about the Garcia and get his group there, stage some performances of American Indians that he has there.
Sure.
We have in the past made an application for an acquisition or building of a building for public safety. I don't know if the dollar amount scared the nation, but we were denied. So I don't know if we want to try that again, but we can definitely that's what we decide to do, we'll move forward on that.
Mr. Mayor, if I may, to go back to your question, Mr. Vice Mayor, you know, the previous administration had reached out to the Tohono Nation. There's always a question about, is $150,000 too much? Is $500,000 too much to ask for? Is $2 million too much? Honestly, we don't know. It's up to the nation. At the end of the day, they're the ones who get to decide what gets prioritized. We do not get a list of what does get funded, what doesn't get funded. So it's really just a shot in the dark.
Let's put a nice amphitheater on paper there.
You know, if that's the direction of the council, you know, we will work with Juan and Marcel, and we will put together the very best application that we can to fund an amphitheater, or two amphitheaters. Sure. No, once again, really, the sky's the limit. The question is, how high up do you want that sky to go? If that's your direction, we will do it. The application will be due. It's always due right around June 15th. I haven't looked at the calendar, but it's usually the Friday right around June 15th. And so this is kind of our last chance. It takes some time to get a real good application together. And so we would appreciate direction so that we can begin working on that.
What about the social field in Monte Carlo?
Great project.
Great project. Sure. Once again, if that's the direction, we will work with the necessary people to make it
Falls
happen.
in on their radar.
Education.
Yeah,
Healthcare, I mean, we'll do our best to
Sure.
fit it into.
Can you put two applications or?
No, only one.
No, it's only one application.
Okay.
That's how we go to a soccer field. We need the kids to get out there and get some
Well,
good fields.
through the soccer field, it's a little more expensive to, you know, once you put the lights and everything on. But it'd be worth looking,
The soccer field without the lights is about $150,000 to develop that soccer field out there at, I don't know what we're talking, I'm talking a professional soccer field, not just grading and throwing some.
the lights go another 75, 80?
We'll probably have to put some more lights.
100. Yeah, quarter million.
About 200,000 more,
Like 100.
100,000 more.
There may also be a question as to land acquisition costs.
No, that would be.
Unless there's something worked out.
That would have worked out with the school district. So we can try to get the education piece on it there too.
There you go.
Know, if that helps.
So,
Okay, so what do you
talking
need?
quarter million?
We just need you to tell us what you want us to apply for. Or if you want to just leave it up to us, we'll apply for it.
Well, those are two worthy projects. Again, the field would be more beneficial because it'll cost a lot more than the amphitheater. I mean, I'd rather put the bill for the amphitheater and they pay for that soccer field with lights. I mean, that'd be great.
If I might, I apologize, I did not put it here, and I didn't go back through all the applications, but we did apply for an amphitheater.
Yeah,
I want to say 2 years ago.
The one here.
Yes, the one right back here behind the basketball field church. That was a little trickier. I would say the land issues caused that to be a much more difficult application. Number one, to even develop, let alone get approved. If you're looking at something like Pearson or Holcomb Field, where there's already kind of a skeleton there that you can develop, I think, and we're already down the road.
And this opportunity comes up every year, right, Aaron?
Every single year. I always put it on the agenda.
If we're toying between soccer field and amphitheater, maybe we pick one and we go after one this year, and back it up by going after the one next year.
Well, I guess with your experience, which one do you feel is the best way to try to round up?
My opinion out of the two, I would go for the soccer field, Mr. Mayor, and the only reason why is we've already applied for an amphitheater and it'll probably be fresher for the nation to look at.
Okay.
And then it's partnering with the school, so we can throw in a lot of educational stuff that we might not do.
And cultural.
We'll give it our.
No, well, that's the other.
The other one, culture.
We can get that next year.
add some cultural awareness way markers right on that. Sorry.
Well, there's still a school over there, both of them.
There you go.
Aaron, if the application were to indicate that we're partnering with the school, and if the school district would join that application, would that make it a stronger application?
I don't know. I would have to. Yeah, I'd have to look at that. I mean, I think though, like John says, we're hitting this education piece through the partnership. I want to say that.
Would it hurt?
Obviously not. No, partnerships always look
We
good.
can get the school district to do a resolution to support the application and indicate that we are partnering.
All of that helps. There is an issue with page limits on the application. They limit it to 4 pages. So you're really, really restricted as to what type of information you can put in. But we could refer to a resolution in that application, maybe not include the physical.
So right now, the soccer field seems to be a better bet.
But I think our best bet, Mr. Kissinger, Mr. Mayor, if maybe we ask the full council if it's something that they can all support. That way we can move forward.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to move that we move forward with an application with the soccer field at Minecraft.
Second.
Okay, all right, we have, I think we discussed it enough. Anybody else have any more discussion? All right, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carried.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Now we're in discussion, action item, okay, number 6, line 7, discussion and possible action on funding an auxiliary council office during the upcoming budget. Actually, I put that on there, but I guess the wording got in there. We really don't need any funding. I think they mentioned something about having phone lines there. What we want is like an auxiliary office for council. I guess when you put council, that includes the mayor also?
Yes.
Okay. Where sometimes when it's busy here, we have our offices here busy with, sometimes the aides from the congressional aides come and take over your office. And I think we want to have an auxiliary office over there also where they have a lot of space. All we need is an office for any of the councilmen want to go up there. If you like, you can even have probably an open door policy for your constituents or anybody else. And so pretty much though, it's not going to be, I don't see an expense ticket on this. You know, it's a matter of just, I think phone lines, I think all of us have our own phones or city phones that we carry, and we really don't need any more phone lines. I think the only thing we would need is probably a desk and maybe some filing cabinets with each one individually locked, so any councilman with their names on it, if you want to keep something in there, you can lock it in your filing cabinet and have access to it when you're there. That's pretty much what we had in mind on that. So I don't know if some of you feel there's a need, you'd like to see your constituents, or you'd like to even just get away from City Hall and go over there and be connected with that other part of the administration, which would be Public Works. So that's the reason I put it there. So if you have any questions, anybody have any? Yes, Councilman Diaz?
So there'll be no cost at all?
Well, no.
Basically,
No, we have desks laying around over there that we can use, right? We have filing cabinets and stuff like that. We don't have to buy it. We don't have to buy. I mean, I'm not considering buying any furniture. We just use what we already have in supplies that are laying around.
That's the direction you want us to take. We'll use our used furniture.
Right. That's it.
Furnish the office.
As long as it's not torn up.
Now we'll bring it back to you.
Okay. So that's pretty much it.
So no cost, we can go in whenever we want? No
Right.
appointment, just walk in unannounced?
Right,
and
right.
We'll have a little office there, we can go and meet with somebody or?
That's
Mr. Mayor, that was kind of the question I had is, if it's one space, we'd probably have to work out some sort of way to schedule the time, otherwise I might walk in on Councilman Diaz having a big meeting and
Well,
so just so.
there's also, to take care of that, we do have somebody, they have two actual conference rooms there, don't they? One like for 15 people and one for like 30 some.
That's correct.
And so there's always the smaller conference room that, you know, that's very nice to just sit down and talk to someone.
So you're basically asking that staff put that in the budget, that space be allocated for mayor and council as a additional meeting rooms.
Right. But we'll have one office for that, and in case there's more than one there at the time, there's always that smaller conference room there. That's about it.
Because right now we have just one little office.
This one right here.
Okay.
Right.
We also have a conference room.
Mayor, is that a motion?
Well, I would, if you want to, if anybody can make the motion, but I just put it on here. We felt that there was a need for that so, if somebody wants to make the motion, go ahead.
I'll make the motion.
Okay, that's a motion.
A motion along the lines of what the Vice Mayor indicated, that it be included as part of the budgeting process and allocation for an office over there. Right?
Right.
That would be the proper way.
That would be the proper way of doing it?
I'll second.
Low budget. We have a and a second? Okay, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion carried. And you have direction on that? Hopefully you'll have a little office by next week? Yes, Mr. Racena.
Can I ask a question? So I can.
You know, the office that they're requesting, the plans on putting the office will be presented in the budget process.
Okay. I just need to know what I need to do, if I need to do anything.
I think the mayor.
Well, I think eventually we'll get together and we'll walk.
Do you have an expectation that you would have an office space next week?
No, I'm just saying, if you'll show us around, like if council wants to go and take a look and see what's available.
Right.
You know, let us know, or who do we address, who do we want? You?
Give staff the opportunity to research, to provide you with an office over at Public Works and present it during the budget process is what I heard.
Well, that sounds, are you talking about till the budget is finished?
Well, that's what the Vice Mayor was indicating. But I mean, if you wanted tomorrow, that's the direction you want to give.
Well, how much, what's reasonable time for, because you're in charge of the building, right?
Yes. Sure. That's why I wanted to ask the question of what your expectations are, because you were talking about the conference rooms that we have there. The conference room is available right now. But if you are expecting to have a permanent office with filing cabinets, desk, and
no, just
a private.
One filing cabinet with a drawer for each councilman.
Yeah, but there are 7 councilmen or 7.
So you need 2 filing cabinets.
Okay, whatever you decide, that's fine with me. It's just I need to know what it is. If you want to use the conference room, you're welcome. If I need to figure space, who I need to move so you can use that office, it's what I need to know.
Can you get something done in 2 weeks?
If I just need to know what you need, and then I can tell you.
Hopefully an office a little bigger than the one we have here. You're familiar with the one here, right?
Yeah, I am really.
Can you get us one a little bigger than that?
You can have as big as you need. Yeah. It's just, you tell me, because I need to move people. All the offices that are there are used, so.
Well, there was a lot of empties when I went the last time.
Well, you can give us the opportunity, Mr. Mayor, we'll go out and look at some office. And again, I'm not real sure how this is playing out. Would you like us to present the options to you on an office during the budget process, or do you want us to move forward and get it done?
No, move forward and get it done, because we're not asking for any money for the budget. It's not like
Well, that's okay, Mayor, but you amend the motion.
Okay, let's I guess,
Move to amend.
let's amend the motion.
What's the wording of the motion to amend?
Move to amend the previous motion to indicate the office as soon as possible.
So moved.
Okay, now, we have a first and a second for the motion to be amended to get the office as soon as possible. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, ayes have it, motion carried. Thank you. Next, let's see, we have item 6, line 8, discussion and consideration and possible action authorizing the implementation of the promotional process as approved by the Human Resource Director, Eva Chavez Rios, and Police Chief Derek Arnson, or designee. This might have been written a little off, because really what we really wanted was more the input of our chief and police department and that process that they had. There was some kind of, I guess, I thought it was maybe some negative publicity that came out of that. And the chief wasn't here, and it kind of put us on the spot that you know, we always feel a lot better when our chief is here, and he knows he knows his department better than anybody else, and that's why we're also glad to see you here, Chief. I don't know if you can shed some light. We're not gonna, it's not us that are gonna be discussing or taking action on this. It's more what if Human Resources and the PD want to say something, and you want to say something, Mr. Kissinger, it's up to you guys. We're just here to kind of, we want to get kind of the facts, because we haven't really got the whole story from that meeting. So if you can kind of bring us up to date and show us what's going on, we appreciate it.
Mr. Mayor, Council, it's great to be back. To give you a little update on our process. First off, I have an incredible department, seasoned professionals. Some of the information that you did hear, I don't believe was correct. Some of the innuendos that were given in the community aren't correct. I've got 20-year veteran officers that are looking to promote. And it's my job to ensure that as the leader of this organization, as the focal point of this organization, that I get it right. So where we're at, first off, let me back up. We had a process that we started, and I chose through discussion with some of my officers, our union president, to deviate a little bit from what we did the last test. Some of the challenges that that's brought are why perhaps we're here today. There's been some discussion on this promotional process. I made a decision as a chief of police to allow my officers to take the written test, and that instead of having a 70% to pass, whatever that percentage was, that they move forward in the second part, which was my change. Instead of having just the written and an oral board, that would all be homogeneous. It would be together to the interview. My purpose for that was twofold. One, those officers that want to promote would have studied, would have prepared, just like any other promotional process. And if they got in the 30s or the 20s or the 50s or the 60s or whatever they got, that whoever was the highest in that would continue on, prepared for an interview. Why was that important for me? That was important because my job is to mentor and to lead. My job is to prepare my team to be my replacement and to continue up that chain. In so doing, the process is when they're allowed to have interviews, they're like me in front of an audience and have to articulate a point of view. In this case, different situations within law enforcement that we can make an assessment to evaluate how they respond to certain instances. Now, at the end of the day, I stand behind that process. I gave my word. As a coach of a team, which is what this is, I put a play in. My boss is the referee. My job is to send him my play, and if he has the decision, the final decision to say, Chief, I didn't like that play, that's his call. That's what happened. So where does that put us today? We can have all the negative discussions. We have officers that are waiting to get promoted. We're here to try to figure out what happened. So in the background, there's a lot of things that are happening right now. I've actually been in contact with my boss, been in contact with city management through Mr. Kissinger. Some of the way that this process went out was perhaps some steps that I missed, probably through a lack of communication. I stand as a man, I make decisions. I'm not afraid to make decisions. I'm not afraid to raise my hand if I make an error. In retrospect, the missing link on my end was I did not inform my boss that I made this deviation from what we had in the past. So now hindsight being 20/20, maybe I should have done that. That's been the issue. I will always try to be a statesman. I will never strip someone of their dignity when I disagree with them. My father and mother raised me that way. You won't get that from me here today. What we're trying to do is move forward. Mayor, this was brought up. We had some legal representation that perhaps the way the process was and the end, maybe not the process, but maybe some of the wording wasn't to the standard that was requisite for what we needed. Those are opinions above my grade. So where we're at today is to try to move forward. And that's where I am as a chief. I made a commitment and gave my word to my team that we would move forward, and I still stand behind that.
Chief, I have a question, just that, that I have, just thought I could shed some light on it. I heard that it was between you and Human Resources that were drawing up the test, and everything was okay as far as that goes. And the other thing that I heard was the bottom line, that regardless of what method you use for testing practices, it seems like the call comes down to you, which I'm glad. I mean, I'm not questioning that. I think to me, you've proven yourself here in our community. You're a good judge of character. Your integrity is up there with where it should be. And I'm very pleased that you're our chief, and I trust in your decision making. I'm very happy that you're chief. I think you have a good relationship with your force. I mean, I can see the professionalism that they offer this community. So I think you're all doing a fine job. The only thing was that I heard that regardless of what method you use, it's up to the chief to get the top 3 applicants for that position, and then you make a decision which one is the best one that's going to move forward. Is that right? 3 months?
Well, I guess some of that is correct, Mayor. My job is, as Derek Arnson, the chief, maybe a different chief would do it differently, but me, I never want to have any appearance of favoritism. I don't think there's equality, but I know there's fairness. There's nothing so unfair as the equal treatment of unequals. And you listen to that statement, you think about that, really nothing's really equal in life. But I have the charge and the responsibility to be fair. And that's what I want out of this process, as I want my officers to know that I'm doing everything I can to be fair about this. So your question is, I take the top person. I have the discretion to take one of the top 3, but I usually, so far, have made the decision, unless I have some convincing, articulable grounds to not choose that top candidate, which I haven't seen yet. If they've proven themselves through that process, have prepared themselves, then That's who's gonna get promoted for whatever grade that is, whatever rank. Let me add one extra thing. The responsibility of this promotional process, it's my responsibility to get it right. I go to HR and get direction, but ultimately it's my process. I don't know where the breakdown was, but I'll take it that it was a failure of communication to put the passing score of 70. It wasn't said. It might have been inferred on my end, because I certainly feel strongly about that. That's part of my frustration with what's been said in the community. It hurts, because I represent human beings that put their lives on the line every day. And for anyone to think that my officers are substandard, please come have an award with me. However, here we are today, and this is where the discussion is. So we're just trying to get it right.
And thank you, Chief, for shedding that light. And I mean, up to a certain degree, our hands are bound also under the city management form of government. We're limited to what we can, I guess, get involved in this process. But we support you wholeheartedly as far as, you know, we believe that you know, it's true that if you can reach an agreement with human resources and the city manager, whatever it is, we'll be happy that you were involved.
That's what we're trying to do right now. I've been working with city management and trying to see if there's any way, you know, to bring this back. But I don't know where that's at right now. That's why I'm preparing to look at the process, to look at the scores, to look at the testing, some of the testing or the questions, and see if there was something there that was missing. I think we need a little more time to evaluate that right now, as far as our oral board scores and written scores.
Again, we're grateful for you shedding the light you have, and well, we wish you the best. I wish we could do more. We'll do what we can. Legal has to guide us along those lines. And, thank you. Yes, let me see. I'm sorry.
Mr. Mayor, I would like to ask a lot of questions on the process, but I guess I need clarification from legal on what are our limitations as mayor and council in getting involved in this process, because like I said, I'd like to ask a lot of questions, but if we're not allowed to, I don't even want to start down that line.
No, the mayor's right, and there's limits as to the involvement of the council in giving direct orders to the chief or anybody else regarding what can be done, but there's nothing wrong in asking questions regarding the process itself and to make sure that all the required legal steps are met and so on. The chief has already started or gotten complete the upcoming process for the new test. So, but I mean, any questions you want to ask regarding the process or anything, it's okay.
Okay, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to ask.
You got the green light, so go ahead.
Chief, you mentioned the minimum score of 70. Is that a standard that has always been in place, or has just been recently been in place? Could you enlighten us on what that means?
Mr. Mayor, Mr. Ducero, Councilman or Vice Mayor Ducero, that's the $1 million question. So I failed to have that implemented. It just so happens that the last processes we've had people score higher than that, so it hasn't become an issue. We still had people score higher than that on this process. And you know, you look at a standard and you think, well, 70 is an acceptable standard. I agree with that. What I have exception with is I gave my team my word that the process that we had is what we're going with. And I just say that, in fairness to them, we start a game, when we were young kids, we start with the rules here, and then somebody changes the rules, we got upset. Well, we started with these rules. Well, as adults, it's no different.
I understand. I
Right.
guess that's what I'm just trying to get clarified. Is that a standard that we have in place, that minimum score of 70?
I don't think it's a standard we have in place, but I stand behind the 70 standard. So I say that because we have, Mr. Machado, I don't know if you want.
That's the generally accepted standard. You know, so you can go higher if you want, but in terms of legal liability, that's the minimum of the generally accepted standard. You go below that, and then that's when we start talking about the liability questions and exposure and all that stuff.
I just want to make sure that either that is the standard we have in place, or is that just the generally accepted standard that's in place?
Again, Mayor?
Yes,
Okay.
please.
So the 70%, when I came on board, we've always used the 70%. It's always been in line. We use the 70% passing for our entry-level police officer, the exams, for the firefighters. We've used that, so that is the standard that we use for the exams.
And Chief, you mentioned earlier that you were looking at ways to maybe look at an aggregate or cumulative or some sort of way to get to that, and was that able to be accomplished, or?
But I've worked since Monday, Tuesday, and all today on that.
Okay, so the standard that I guess you're referring to only is reflective of the written, is that what I understand?
What I've been told, Joey can help me out, is that the process, because it didn't have a passing grade as far as the requirement, meaning a set 70, it didn't have anything, is the root of why we're here probably discussing this, is because it wasn't set. I'm just saying that I want you to know, everyone to know, that this was my process. And what's my word worth to my team? They came to me, I made these changes. If the process didn't get the wording correctly done, then that's on me. I signed off and sent it up. At that point, Mr. Dilly said, "Hey, there's some issues with this." Mr. Machado realized that there's legal issues related to that, related to risk. So again, those are issues that place my officers in a situation that they work to study, to promote, and what happened to the process wasn't their fault. So I'm not trying to point fingers at anyone. I take responsibility as a chief for the process. It's where we are.
Mr. Mayor, Mr. Machado, is it, I'm still trying to get clear, is it because we didn't specify that the minimum standard was 70 during the recruitment process, or is it because no one met the minimum standard?
Both. There's a requirement that the minimum standard be established before the test, and that wasn't done. And secondly, my understanding is, what I reviewed, the cumulative score, there was no cumulative score, total score, that surpassed 65%. So nobody met the generally accepted standard. There were portions of the test that were passed with over 70%, but not the total score. Because it was a test that comprised of 3 or 4 elements, and they were all weighted differently. Now, I understand that the next test going to come out, the chief, and that's his discretion, can weigh the different parts of the test differently. And he can decide to put a 60% passing, for example, on the written portion of it, and then weigh it and do different things with the other portions, as long as the total bottom comes out to 70. How they do it, that's up to the chief.
Yes, Councilman Rojas.
I'm hearing some contradictions here. the human resource, Alba, you just said that there was a standard of 70%. Didn't you just say that?
No, the question was that why at 70, and I said that in the past, that's what we've been using, and that's the standard that we use for entry-level examinations and firefighters. But it was not the standard for this last process.
However, when the police chief approved, you also approved that. So shouldn't it have stopped there?
I think, and just like, you know, to piggyback on what the chief said, my responsibility at that point, yes, we did have the conversation. I heard why he was doing this, why he was changing the process, and at that point, I should have either recommended both of us, or I should have taken it to Mr. Dilly.
That's correct.
That's correct, and I did not do that. We went ahead and proceeded. Absolutely, the officers were communicated that there was no standards, so they went into the whole process thinking that they need to meet a certain standard. So when they selected the top candidate based on scores, not even passing 70, just who scored the highest, and you know, and it was brought to Mr. Dilly's for signature, that's when he started questioning why such a low percent.
If I can interject again. However, the whole thing started with the police chief saying, and he was very clear, and of course, Mr. Machado changed it again. He just said that he took it upon himself, is that correct, Chief? To change the process. Now, shouldn't you have been involved there as well as Mr. Dilly in that? If he was gonna, I mean, guy, that's why these officers are upset.
And that's exactly what I said, absolutely. We had the conversation, because I was not part of the conversation downstairs. Mr. Fisher did come up to my office and let me know that it was something that he had agreed to changing and the reason behind it. And that's what I said. At that point, I should have either recommended him to go or myself to both go and talk to Mr. Dilly, and that's what I felt to do that.
Now, whatever the reasons are, this thing shouldn't even be before the mayor and the council. Is that correct? I mean, going back to your comments, Mr. Machado, which is the legal matters involved here. Isn't this, these are things that you as staff have to take care of.
Yes.
Because it comes to us and we can't do anything, well, we're gonna have to start getting involved on this.
Yep.
Because it's not fair for the officers. They're upset, and let me tell you something, I support them. I mean, these officers are in the front line. This is what's in national attention about securing the borders, while they're the first ones on the line as well. And thank you, Chief, for your words. They're strong, and you should support your officers. And I'm sure that the mayor and the council also support you 100%. And they're upset, and this has got to stop. And this is not about hitting somebody in the hand.
Well, if I may add, we had several meetings and we looked at all sides, absolutely. We have established a
Not really.
process.
You did not look at all the sides. And you know what? Whatever meeting you conducted, you were not communicating. And you were not listening to the chief.
Yes, I was, sir.
Well,
Because I agree with the process at that point. That what I said is, I agree with the process.
that he was changing it?
Absolutely, and the reasons why, because he wanted to make sure that our officers got the opportunity to go on through the whole process. I agree with him. Again, where I felt was that I did not partner with the city manager at that point.
Mr. Rosas, if I may.
Done.
Mayor?
Yes, go ahead.
In defense for the HR department, she has the authority to change the rules, okay? I'll give you this, it's section 402, it's highlighted. And it states, I'll read it to you. All city employees who apply for positions within the city shall be required to meet the qualifications and testing standards in effect at the time of application. So the standard is whatever HR sets up. HR said that there would be no minimum 70, a magical 70. Nobody knows where the 70 came from. I've asked Mr. Parada, he doesn't know where the 70 came from. Nogales doesn't have a standardized testing procedure. They don't even have a policy. So how can you tell me that a 70 is standard practice when they don't even have a policy that they can refer to? Now, according to this, HR does have the authority to do this, and that's why she felt comfortable doing it, because the personnel manual says she has the authority to do so. And right there's a copy of that personnel manual, and that's what they went by. No rules were broken. HR didn't break any rules. Our chief didn't break any rules. The rules were changed at the end of the game. That's what the rule was changed.
Yes. After the exam.
After the exam. No rules were broken by either HR or our chief or our command staff. None of the rules were broken. They followed all the rules. HR has the authority to do this. And she has every right to do so in her defense, and I'm here to let you know that she didn't do anything wrong. She followed the rules. And that's all I have to say.
I'm gonna ask Neil Holden, ask legal real quick. I thought mayor and council still have some say so on the rules that go by on policy and on things that are written up here and legislate. Are we still involved or are we out of it?
Well, you're not involved in any particular decision regarding personnel, but you are very involved as the legislative body in creating policy. If you want to create a policy where 40% is the passing score, you know, I will give you the legal advice as to what happens if you do that, but if that's what you want to do, you create the policy.
Well, coming to that, let me ask the chief something then. Chief, you know, I've been involved in a few jobs throughout my lifetime, and not everybody, including myself, that got a high score was the best guy out there in the field what he was doing. What I'm saying here, this, you know, this is a job that's highly stressed. I mean, you guys are putting your lives on the line for this community, for all of us. And I'm wondering now, just because somebody got a high grade on the paper, does that make him the best officer out there in the field?
Mayor Doyle, in answering your question, my expectation is professionalism. I want to make sure that we have competency within the rank and file of this organization, because I don't want the appearance in any way to think that we're jeopardizing the public's trust or confidence in our ability to respond professionally and competently to the calls of service or whatever that might be. And so I, as the chief of police, have to make sure that I balance the expectations of my officers. I do feel that there has to be a standard. I'm an adjunct professor here at our local college, and I give grades, I give tests, and I think it's important to have a standard. What I'm saying is this: I gave my word. My word is everything. That's all I have. And I gave my word to my guys and my gals and my officers and my team. So the dilemma is we could be in a situation of risk, as our city attorney has suggested. However, these officers' expectation was what was on the paper when they signed up to compete for the process. As I said back when we were young kids, the game was being played. At the end of the day, maybe we didn't check the right boxes of what should have been done. And that's on us. I mean, there was a breakdown in communication. I don't shy away from that.
I think what I was trying to get to, Chief, was that In other words, you know, you get somebody who could get a 90, 95, and then he's out there in the field. But now, for some reason, he doesn't know how to deal with a life situation, and he reaches for his holster before he should.
Mayor, I appreciate where you're headed with this, and let me just kind of bring this back a little bit. Number one is these were for lieutenant, sergeant, and corporal detective positions. So none of these individuals were brand new officers. These were seasoned officers, and that's why I made the comment very clearly that anybody that thinks that any of my officers aren't competent or absolutely as hard charging and as compassionate and passionate as any other organization and better, come talk to me. Flip side is you're right. I have a couple of master's degrees, and I guarantee you there's officers that don't have degrees that are probably smarter than me. Into the end of the day, though, Council, Mr. Mayor, there has to be a standard in which we a benchmark in which we evaluate. We failed to do that. But at the end of the day, though, does that mean my officers, you know, don't get what they prepared for? So that I have both sides of that to serve.
Before I give the floor to the vice mayor, because he's had arms raised, probably getting tired now. But when we were in D.C., we were fortunate enough to hear President Obama address the assembly over there, and also his, I guess, his Secretary of Labor, Mr. Perez, and they both mentioned they told the whole assembly there that it was more important to have somebody with 10 years experience than somebody with a degree. He said if you have somebody that knows how to do the job, this is from the President of the United States, promoting them, keep them. Says he already knows what he's doing. I just thought I'd throw that in, but go ahead, Vice Mayor Lucero.
Mr. Mayor, I don't know who to ask this question of, but in hearing the discussion, the minimum 70% score came in after the fact, but also I've heard that if the testing was weighted differently, that perhaps these promotions can go into effect. So I guess the question is, could staff go back and weight segments of the test differently to meet the minimum standards?
Not retroactively.
Oh. Why is that?
Because you'd be setting the standard after the fact, depending on the score. You would be redoing it to raise the score.
Not necessarily. I mean, you could still do it blind and just set this as a different, apply a different weight to it.
But the only reason you would be doing it would be to raise the cumulative scores that were received up to the 70. See, there was no cumulative score to 70. So yes, you can weigh it differently, but you would only be doing so to raise a 65 to 70.
And how would that put us at risk?
Because you've already established that nobody got the 70. So then what you're doing is artificially creating the 70. That's the legal aspect of it. Now, and except I don't make the rules. That's the law. The council is free to change those rules that exist. But as long as we have certain rules existing.
Not changing the rules, I'm just asking, could a different way be applied?
And that's what they're doing now, before the fact. In other words, you can weigh it differently as long as that 70 doesn't change. Now, even that 70 can change if that's what the policy of the council. If they establish a policy different from the generally accepted policy or standard, there's risk to be involved, but you can do it if you wish. I mean, you do it with open eyes, you can do it.
Well, Vice Mayor Lucero, let me clarify something. There's confusion here, okay? Certain people tell us that you need to get a 70% on the written test. If you don't get a 70% on the written test, it's no good. Then other people say it's a cumulative 70%. I'd like to know which one is it?
It's a cumulative, sir.
It's a cumulative 70% now. Okay.
Always has been.
Always has been. And where's that in writing? Where's the rules? Where's the legal jargon that says 70% is the practice?
The test is composed of various segments, but the total score is the test.
But you are aware that this testing process, it's mathematically impossible to score 70%?
You know, I don't know that, Victor. I said there's
Well, I'm
problems.
telling you right now that
There's
it's
well,
mathematical.
that's exactly the whole point here, is there were problems with this process. The remedy is not to make promotions that would be in violation of the law. That's not the remedy.
What law is this? I'm just curious. Please, educate me. Let me know what law is this. Is it the law that when we had a sergeant who tased another officer and the city got sued, that the person suing said, I'd like to see what that person scored cumulatively?
Yes, that would be a problem.
Well, that's funny, because I've been here for 14 years and I've never heard of that.
Mayor?
Yes, go ahead.
I want to address the mayor, council, the audience. Been here for 16 years. Been working for the Nogales Police Department. Okay. I worked under Chief Kissinger when he was a chief here. I've been here a very long time, and I have yet to have ever seen legal ever get involved. I have tested for many positions for the city of Nogales in the police department, and I have yet to ever see any type of policy or anything implemented. This policy or this test that Chief Arnson and they move forward, to me, and what I've seen in the 16 years has probably been the fairest process that I've ever seen. Yet it's no different than the ones that we took when Chief Kissinger was our chief. It's never been an issue till this one. I just don't understand how that all of a sudden it just came about. I don't get it. And on behalf of my comrades and my officers, my partners that we work together, these guys have been entrusted in different positions, and they have solved homicides, have taken down drug trafficking organizations, put people away for a very long time, and we're discussing this for a 70% or whatever the case might be. These officers have put their life on the line for all of you, for all of us, even before I started here. And now we're dealing with this. This is very sad for me. This is very sad for me. You know that I had to get to this day to see all this go about, and we're worried about this. It was done fairly, and I'm just very disappointed that now we have legal all of a sudden. And I don't know how long you've been here, Mr. Machado, but like I said, when you were our chief, Mr. Kissinger, I tested for sergeant and for other positions, and I don't ever remember seeing anything in our policy that said that we had to test with a 70%. So when I saw those comments on the paper about we were substandard and all these other things, that's very disappointing. After having all these other officers that have done a lot for our community, put away child molesters away, homicide suspects, drug dealers, and all that stuff away. So that's all I want to say.
Mayor, Council, if I can, the SOPs, the chief's responsibilities and duties, I'll give you a copy of this if you like. Under Section D, appointments and promotions, the chief of police shall make appointments and promotions with the approval of the assistant administrator, subject to the rules and regulations of the personnel system. Well, we followed all the rules. We followed all the regulations. We followed all the personnel systems. We didn't violate anything. I don't understand what the issue is here. If we followed all the rules, we didn't break any rules, the chief didn't break any rules, HR didn't break any rules, what is the problem? I don't understand. I feel this was signed by Chief Kissinger, by the way. So I fail to see what the problem is. for the life of me, I yet have someone to tell me a good reason why these promotions are not being given to these officers. I don't understand it.
Mr. Mayor, just one more thing on something that I commented. You know, we're talking about after the fact. That the way that what Councilman Lucero brought up was a very good point. Because initially, the chief started off. Didn't you initially start off, Chief, by saying that you took it upon yourself to use this process and this weighted process? That's not after the fact, that's before the test. Before the test, that's when you came up with that. It wasn't after the fact, it was before. That was the process that he came up with. And so, going back to Councilman Lucero's suggestion, it's not out of the question, because it's not after the fact. It's initially, the chief took it upon himself to implement that. So it's not after the fact.
So, and you still feel comfortable with that decision after everything?
I mean, your word is on the line.
The word on the process that I put forward and where I stand with my officers, absolutely. Absolutely. The difference is this. I want to make sure that a message isn't being sent to my officers, because I'm going to shut that down real quick. We will have a standard, and we will have a 70% standard. So just so you guys hear that and know that.
But that's after the fact.
That is after the fact, and that's my point.
That's what's unfair to your office.
What I'm saying is
They tested
in future processes.
You're talking about future.
Yeah. I'm talking about in future processes.
But we're talking about this process right now.
This process is I laid the ground rules, and I died by the ground rules, and it was stopped above my grade. In no way, shape, or form am I saying that I agree with what I failed to implement, which was a 70. I failed to do that, but because I didn't do that, what happens here is my officers suffer because I failed. So that's really where we're at. I want to make sure that it's clear that never will you hear me say that a 70% is not acceptable. Problem is, the 70% wasn't defined in this process, and that's an error on my end.
Under that scoring method or testing method that was implemented and was used, would you still be able to select officers for promotion from that if you had the green light?
Sure, if I had a green light, absolutely.
So legally, how can council do something to be able to overcome this?
If you want to change whatever policy you want, you can do that. And if you want to make a policy whereby whatever the passing score was here, 65, or the other ones were lower, if you want to make a policy accepting those standards, you can do so. Legally. But there are risks involved, and I can explain them to you and so on, but if that's what you decide to do, that's a council decision regarding the policy. Okay? So that's up to you. But just recognize that there are other sides of the coin, but it is your decision. If you want to make a policy that a 60 is acceptable,
on the test that was taken, but if there's a new set, if they, what we're trying to do is right and injustice, I would say.
That you can't do, Mayor. If you want to do the policy, make that a general policy, you can do that. But you can't make a change in this policy just for this situation. That would be in violation.
No, the policy, well, there was no policy. There's no policy. We're trying to say, can council say, we will accept the testing at this point, and from now on, there's a new standard?
Mayor, Council, just to clarify things, I mean, the officers are also, we agree with the chief that there needs to be a 70. We don't say that, hey, you know, just pass this because it passes. We understand that there needs to be a standard policy, and we understand, we're asking for it. We're asking for something in writing. And we've already talked to Mr. Dilly about it. He agreed to it. He said that we would all sit down and we would discuss it, and we would come up with something that we can put in writing so that this would never happen again. So we're okay with that. We're not trying to say that we don't want a 70. We've never said that. What we're saying that is that this testing process was done, completed, and no rules were broken. And I think that's where it's unfair, is that no one has any right justification to say, well, you broke this rule. If you told me I broke a rule and you showed me what rule it was, I'd walk away and say, okay. So we test again. But when it's just done because it's just I don't agree to it, you know, the 70 has been used. I'm not saying it's never been used. It's been used. It's been used in the past. I've also seen where there is no 70 required. I've seen where number 3 and number 4 get promoted, and then number 1 doesn't get promoted. There's all kinds of things I've seen when it comes to promotions. If Nogales, the city of Nogales had a standardized way of doing things, I say, you know what, you're absolutely correct. A standard 70? Yep, absolutely correct. But there is no standard 70. There never has been. And as I showed you, even your personnel manual says there, that the standard is whatever HR sets up at that time. So I don't understand what the problem is. I really don't.
So what is the problem then legally, if we can change the policy in the future, which they're already working on? Or is the PD involved in that? Are you getting some input with a new policy that's been written? That's worked on, that's being worked on?
Since this all happened, Mr. Mayor, Council, Mr. Dilly's working as fast as he can with us. It's been brought to my attention that we haven't brought our officers into that discussion, that narrative. I spoke to Mr. Dilly about that specifically today, and he assured me that absolutely, Chief, we need to bring our officers, those affected by promotions, to be stakeholders in their promotions, their process. So we're moving forward, regardless of what happens here, we're moving forward. I've said that before repeatedly, that my job is to keep my morale moving forward, keep my officers moving. We have a responsibility in the community to do that. That's what I'm trying to do. My direction is, Chief, this process had some problems with it. Okay, I'm a soldier. I have to move forward with the next.
We understand.
You know what I'm saying?
And we know that Mr. Dilly's hired, and he used good judgment on that. We're glad to have you on board, but now I'm wondering why he's questioning your judgment, because he's not a police officer. As a matter of fact, I heard, you know, and you're going to have to look into this because you were gone, but that he's been trampling over crime scenes where he's jeopardizing, compromising evidence. Now, I don't think just because he's city manager, he has a right to be at a crime scene taking control of it.
I haven't heard of that, Mayor.
Well, you're hearing it now, and I didn't see it, but you need to investigate it. Because I don't think we can, that's another lawsuit that could come in play, that somebody's jeopardizing, you know, the evidence on the crime scene, especially if it's the city manager of the city.
Well, at the same time, I'm not going to throw my boss under the bus. I just won't do that.
No.
I will say this.
I'm saying that came out.
Right.
Somebody needs to investigate. I know
And
you're the
I'm
one
sure
who's supposed to
he
investigate
can speak to that if in fact he was involved in anything like that. He's not here, so.
But I'm a little concerned. I'm not going to go out as mayor and get involved in a crime scene because I'm not trained. I don't belong there unless the chief takes me by the hand and wants to show me something. That's fine, and I'll leave. You know, but I'm not going to overstep my bounds. Yeah, yes.
Good evening. I'm Joaquin Lopez from the police department. I've got one quick question. Good evening, council and mayor. This is for Mr. Machado. You're talking about a policy. Can you show me that policy? The question I have is, right after all this came about, when they told us, no, you're not going to get promoted, they went ahead and came out with another process where we're going to go ahead and test again. Okay, and then in that, they stated that Mr. Machado and Mr. Dilly were the two people that were gonna create policy. They even wrote it down on this next promotional, where they are the only two people that can change that new policy that they created. Isn't policy supposed to go through council and
See,
mayor?
Jack, this is the problem. Everybody gets upset and they shut their mind and they start making accusations like that.
Well, I'm not making an
Okay,
accusation. I can show you the documents
Mr. Daly and
downstairs.
myself are not creating policy. The process.
So what's it called?
The new process that was created was the process for the new testing procedure.
Okay, so now from
Wait a
policy it
minute.
goes down to
The-
process?
The council establishes policy through the personnel manual, but the personnel manual very clearly says that each department can create their own policies as long as they don't conflict with that. The chief has been working on that. We've been working for months on your policies in there. As long as they don't conflict with the manual, that's what it is. This was just the process. Nobody's creating anything different.
That's your legal opinion?
It is.
So I guess we go back and ask the question again. I still haven't got a clear answer as far as what this council, what we can do to remedy that situation aside from what's already setting a new policy in place. Is
Well,
there anything that we can do?
Mayor Cruz, I would ask that you sit down with the city manager and then discuss the issue. Obviously, you know, Mr. Kissinger can't answer for Mr. Dilly because he doesn't know what Mr. Dilly's thought process is on this. So I would ask Mayor and Council to sit down with Mr. Dilly and try to resolve the issue.
So I guess that's, we felt the same way with the chief gone, and couldn't get all the light on the situation. I guess it's the same thing with Mr. Dilly gone. I guess it's up to council if they want to continue asking questions or wait for Mr. Dilly to get back.
Mr. Mayor, can we table this till Mr. Dilly gets back and have this discussion with everybody in the same room?
I think it's a good idea.
Second.
He's a key player.
Now, let me just make something clear. I don't make these decisions, and wherever Jack is, I don't make these decisions whether or not to proceed with these promotions and so on. I give advice regarding what the law is and the consequences of violating the law. I don't make the law, I interpret it, and that's what it is. There is a generally accepted standard. Unless there is a written adopted different standard from the council, then that what is generally accepted becomes the standard. Now, if you want to change the standard, you can change the standard. But I don't make the law, that's what it is. If you want to change it, you can change it. I don't make the charter, I can interpret the charter. So I understand your frustration, you want to get involved, but the charter says you can't. Change the charter. But don't blame me for what the charter says.
Well, maybe we can start off by going back and see how this policy got initiated, and we can see it in white and black. Who initiated it, who signed it, before approved, when it was approved. Maybe that's gonna clear a lot of issues.
Which policy?
The policy that's making a mandatory test requirement to go in the setting.
Okay, let me clarify. Okay. Without a policy, without an established policy by the council of a certain amount, then the generally accepted policy or generally accepted standard applies. Okay, so if there is no policy established by this council, then the generally accepted policy applies. That's the legal standard, absent you changing it. So if you don't agree with that standard, you can change it. You can change it, and you can change it prospectively from here on out. The reason you can't go back, Vice Mayor, now thinking about it is you would be undoing a decision that has been made at the management level. That would be in violation of the charter. Again, I don't make the charter, I'm just telling you what it is.
Mayor, Council, I would also recommend that you look at your city charter. I think that the reason we went to you know, the city managers to get away from the strong mayor and council to do away with that system. But I think this new system allows a little bit too much power to one individual. And I think that he should be held accountable, and that you guys should have the ability to be able to talk to him about it, and if you guys don't agree with his decision. So you might want to look at your city charter to readdress that.
Well, that's our expectation, that we'll be talking to him the next time.
Okay, so, I guess does somebody have a motion?
Second.
Okay, we're gonna table the matter till, Mr. Hilly gets back. Continue with, next item, item 6 on the B. Okay. Will be, line 9, and it's discussion and possible action regarding expiration of city manager contract to expire June 1st. I put that on the agenda because I was reading the city charter here, and I guess where it says the council shall have the discretion of entering into a written employment contract with the city manager, but in no event shall the term of such contract be for a period longer than 24 months. I take it to say when I mean by no event means no way. And that's what the contract that he has right now should be when it was written. And I guess you have a copy of the contract. It started June 1st, 2013, and it ends June 1st, 2015. And I think we're legally bound by the city charter to follow that contract. According to the city charter.
I was looking at the contract, but on section 7, the manager had an option. Did you read
The
that?
option is illegal. The
But we
contract,
accept
the
it.
city, the charter says the council shall have the discretion of entering into a written employment contract with the city manager, but no event, no way, no event shall the term of such contract be for a period of longer than 24 months. You can't add another 12 months to that same contract. It's illegal. It's putting us in a bad light. Now, we're breaking the city charter by going along with, we can save ourselves because we're still in the process of those 24 months. But if we continue to extend that contract, then who knows, maybe the AG will come after us.
So originally, the contract was approved.
For 24 months.
Plus that option.
No, there is
It's
no
in the
option. That's
it's in the
illegal. Options are
contract.
illegal. We can get another legal opinion that'll make you feel better. We'll discuss this next month. Because apparently, you know, I can ask you, you're probably gonna say that the option is good.
My legal opinion is what my legal opinion
Yeah,
is.
right, and that's why, I'm not gonna take any chances on one legal opinion. I'm breaking the city charter in that
Pay him
way.
for that though.
And I'd rather either go get a legal opinion from the pool over here, or with a county attorney, or someone that'll give us a legal opinion there, and if there's if there's a difference in legal opinions, then we need to get another one.
So can I have the legal opinion right now?
Sure.
Your legal opinion.
I would give that legal opinion in executive session, just
Okay.
because. And in executive session, if you decide that you want to come out and do it here, then we can do it, but I need to give you the consequences of that, and if you decide what you want to do, you're not under any obligation whatsoever to accept my legal opinion, so, but just let me explain the consequences and you can do what you want.
Can we do that?
Yes, we have 2 months to worry about this, to act on it.
No, but you mean you can give right now your legal opinion
In executive, if you want,
Why don't
you
we
want
do
to
it
know
and
what
take care of
happened.
this?
But there's
Yeah, no, there's a provision.
a provision on it.
In the second, there's a provision to go into executive.
Mhm.
Okay.
So do you agree with that?
Vice Mayor,
Just for my edification, maybe the council's as well. Because you are our city attorney and you signed off on the contract, if we, the council, mayor and council, were to get a second legal opinion, does that nullify or invalidate the contract? I guess the question is it still a valid contract?
Can we discuss that in executive
Let's go
session?
ahead.
So move.
Okay.
To executive
Uh,
session.
All right, all those in favor of going to executive session, signify by saying aye. Ayes have it.